2 points. All 3 rival teams fighting against them finished inside the top 3. Team Falcons secured the deciding booyah and climbed all the way to first place overall.
Now E was flying straight on in, positioning themselves, and AIM got Valiant dashing in, breaking down those defenses, but still unable to pull it away from Falcons. And Falcons with this game.
Twisted Minds only truly exploded in the final 3 games, but that was already enough. The final 2 golden tickets belong to Thailand, but the war is far from over. 6 final grand finals spots still remain. Who will be the next? Everything will be decided during the final 3 days of the knockout stage, May 15th, 16th, and 17th. Don't miss week 4 of FFWS C2026 Spring, and keep supporting your favorite teams.
Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that.
One came to an end, and the battlefield of FFWS C2026 Spring had begun to take shape. Thailand rose to dominate the standings, claiming the entire top 4. 2 Team of the Day titles belong to Twisted Minds and Team Falcons. Team Falcons charge forward like a machine of destruction, the only team to break the 200-point mark with 4 dominant booyahs. AG doesn't need booyahs. They hunt eliminations, apply pressure, and hold firmly at top 2 as a warning to everyone.
And now he might get a 4th one here, and Han goes down! Cypher takes them all out!
Buriram United had a slow start, but Kings always know when to accelerate.
Through all of those players, dig way down on the ground, and put it on coming in here to finish them off one after the other. Demon can't do much. It's a 4v1, and Moshi finally puts an end to that.
The class of the defending champions never truly fades. Indonesia became the stage of shocking upsets. Giants are falling. Even the EWC defending champions managed only 10 points on day 3, dropping all the way to top 18, an unbelievable collapse.
He gets smacked at as well. There goes Evo's 12th place, bottom 3, third game in a row.
But inside that chaos, a new generation is rising. Onyx, Bigatron, bold, explosive, fearless.
Rosana wide, Bigatron with a back-to-back booyah!
Vietnam once started in flames, 3 booyahs. And Gao claimed Team of the Day 1, but that fire quickly began to slow down. Team Flash and WAG are still fighting to keep the hope alive.
Flash can't find the finisher just yet. They try to break through the glue wall. Barros panic, and he does not pick up Nameless, misses the opportunity, and Flash overwhelms AG Global.
While Heavy, Esports, and even Gao themselves are starting to fall behind. And Malaysia, no longer the free points many expected them to be. They are more resilient, more proactive, more dangerous. And now, they are closing in on top 12, waiting for the perfect moment to break through. Week 2. The battle for the top 12 will be more brutal than ever. We're no longer just playing for points. We're fighting to secure the best possible chance, to claim a ticket to the grand finals. Who will rise? Who will fall? Find out in Week 2 of FFWS. Day 2 of FFWS C2026 Spring. Vietnam's anger has reached its peak. Indonesia and Thailand already hold their grand finals tickets. This is home soil, and now it's Vietnam's turn to answer back. Team Flash once again set the perfect tempo for the battlefield. A booyah to open the day.
Now, this should be a simple victory for Flash. Booyah achieved, Team Flash.
But the team accelerating the fastest was Gao Esports. Back-to-back booyah.
From Goku, he was able to get rid of 3 walls and Death finds this important slide. He's just on. It's just about the time as Gao grabs a back-to-back booyah.
Sending them straight into the safe zone. 63 points after just 3 games. A gap big enough to make every other team look up at them. And somehow, the 13th ranked team entering the race today became the first Vietnamese team to secure a golden ticket. Absolute madness. But even crazier was RRQ. They made the entire kingdom hold its breath. 2 games, 1 single point. Then, the king awakened. A booyah with 18 eliminations. This was no comeback story. This was a warning to the entire region, constantly losing players. Fight after fight from a disadvantage. Yet RRQ still clawed their way back to the top through a level of composure no one could explain. Yu looked asleep for most of the day. It wasn't until Game 5 that they truly joined the race.
Fights back, but he is down, and Mink would be mangled. Buriram United for the booyah.
But Thailand stayed calm because they know the race is far from over. Meanwhile, Malaysia no longer looked as explosive as Day 1. Is this just a short break? Or the first sign of collapse under pressure? Vietnam's teams delivered a strong performance today. Maybe no golden ticket yet, but in every brutal team fight, they backed down against no one. WAG carried the hopes of an entire region, but Game 4, then Game 5, shattered their chances too early. And even with a booyah in the final game, it still wasn't enough to break into the top 2.
He's barricading himself in. Will he be able to clutch this or just play around? And there goes WAG for the booyah.
Now, only 2 golden tickets remain in Week 3. Who will rise? Who will survive? One final sprint before the decisive week begins.
Garena. We're heading into Week 2 of the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2026 Spring as the top 12 spots are starting to take shape. Thailand has settled into form. The experimentation phase is over. They are now in full control. Any sparks from the rising teams were quickly snuffed out. All 5 Thai representatives have secured places in the top 12. An unmistakable statement that this year's race belongs to Thailand. Thailand, the kings of Southeast Asia, enter this competition with the aura of a reigning champion. Reaching the top 12 is no longer an objective, but an expectation.
Buriram United will get that booyah because of great.
คืออะไรตอนที่2ว่าที่1แล้วกันผมราชาเก็บแต้มอยู่แล้ว
The race for the top spot may soon see no other region represented. With 4 Thai teams, Team Falcons, AG Global, Buriram United Esports, and Twisted Minds taking control.
มีความในใจอยากจะบอกบุรีรัมย์ครับอยากยิงหัวโจนะจัดเลยรอบเนี้ย
However, it's not only the top contenders. Avita, a newcomer with the makings of a dark horse. They didn't come here just to survive, but to prove themselves among the elite.
เพราะว่าเพิ่งได้ขึ้นมาเนี่ยครับแต่ก็อย่าประมาทผมครับผมเอาจริงครับ
And when Thailand turn it on, anyone in their path can become the next to be wiped out of the top 12.
คิดว่าทีมที่จะตกรอบน่าจะเป็นทีมออร่าครับเพราะแบบเป็นน้องใหม่ยังไม่รู้ฝีมือ
ขอให้เป็น RQ แล้วนะครับขอให้เขาแบบว่าไปก่อนเลยจะได้เล่นง่ายๆ
Indonesia had a forgettable week, with giants like RRQ and EVOS looking unusually quiet.
Karena kurang adaptasi aja sih sama ya kurang berpengalaman dari player-player lainnya.
Ya kurang introspeksi diri sendiri aja lagi.
Is it a slow start, or are they waiting for the right moment to break through?
Kalau top 1 nanti kebaca gameplaynya.
On the road to the top 12, Vietnam remains a difficult opponent, consistently applying pressure on the Indonesian representatives.
Buat tim Vietnam mau lolos apa nggak lolos ya mending lu nggak usah lolos soalnya kan lu main di negara lu sendiri ya. Jadi saran gua mending lu nonton aja.
Vietnam, a region that exploded in the early stages.
Cái lớp này chắc là lớp mạnh nhất của Gao từ trước này.
Gao có khả năng tầm 60% để vô địch giải C năm nay.
Amid such intense competition, can they find the strength to bounce back?
Việc team em trùng khu khá nhiều nên cái lượng điểm thu thập được là không đủ để vào top 12.
Even so, for the Vietnamese representatives, missing out on the top 12 remains unthinkable.
Cái đó thì em không nghĩ tới, bởi vì line-up mùa này em khá là tự tin.
Động lực của em đến từ sự thất bại của mùa giải trước. Đó là một khoảng thời gian tồi tệ và rất dài đối với em, nên là mùa giải năm nay em phải cố gắng.
Vietnam's goal is not just to stay in the race, but to push as many opponents out of it as possible. While other regions are battling for every top 12 spot, no one seems to notice that Malaysia is closing in. Aurora and Anyone Can Dream move like silent assassins, waiting for the fight and striking at the perfect moment.
Target kita orang nak lepas ke Vietnam lagi supaya dapat rasa macam dulu. Kita orang dah training lama.
Maybe tengok kita orang layak untuk pergi final 8 lah macam tu lah. Top 8 lah.
The race for the top 12 is nearing its end. Who will be left behind? Tune in to week 2 to find out.
The final 2 early tickets of Week 3 at FFWS C2026 Spring have found their owners. And once again, Thailand rises above the rest. The return of Avita and Evos on day 3 of Week 3 turned the golden ticket race into the most chaotic battlefield of the entire season. It all began on Kalahari. While Buriram and Avita were locked in a brutal clash, Onyx Olympus saw the opening and stole the first Booyah.
The 1v1, and Demon's now gonna leave it to Zerto for the damage.
And find a finisher in the end as well.
Avita quickly proved they were the deadliest hunters, fresh back into the competition, yet adapting instantly, fearless against every single opponent. After long days of silence, Team Falcons finally awakened. Their Booyah on Solara was the signal that the hunt had officially begun.
Ray down on the ground, Coachil going in for the pickup, and a backstab here by the Falcon player. Pina still dropped by Coachil, unable to pick Ray up just yet, who's crawling right behind. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defenses, and Coachil not enough HP to sustain himself on the battlefield.
Meanwhile, Secret Wag started accelerating. After eliminating Twisted Minds, they carved out the perfect path into the final zone. Game 3 belonged to Secret Wag.
Through, and there's a bad play off of the one. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses. One arm gets caught out by Long Kong, but WAG players are right down there behind them. And who's the final player, VSK in hand, but up against 4 players off of WAG.
Then another Booyah on Nexterra.
Playing it so safe, and Huang finally puts a stop to the carnage. Another Booyah gifted to WAG.
Wag stormed straight to the top of the standings. The golden ticket was within reach. But at that exact moment, the biggest twist arrived. Twisted Minds unleashed an insane point-farming rampage. 30 eliminations in a single game. A massive 39-point explosion, bringing them right back into the race. They no longer looked like a team. They looked like a heavyweight war machine, ready to crush anything standing in their way. From Team Flash to Buriram, Argon, and even Evos. Fight after fight, knocked down again and again, revived again and again. Nobody wanted to leave this race early. After Game 4, Secret Wag had built a 21-point lead, but in this competition, 21 points means nothing. One single game is enough to flip the entire leaderboard upside down. Wag began slowing the pace, playing safer, hiding more carefully. They wanted to protect first place, but the other teams had no intention of slowing down. They pushed forward harder, more aggressive, more bloodthirsty. Twisted Minds were completely unstoppable. On their signature map, they stole another Booyah, and just like that, Wag's lead disappeared. Go into the final game. The pressure became unbearable. Twisted Minds, Team Falcons, Avita, all right behind them. And then the inevitable happened. WAG fell far too early after a risky rotation into the zone. While the remaining contenders had already secured perfect positions, Wag became the hunted. After holding first place for 5 straight games, They lost the golden ticket by just 2 points. All 3 rival teams fighting against them finished inside the top 3. Team Falcons secured the deciding booyah and climbed all the way to first place overall.
Now E was flying straight on in, positioning themselves, and AIM got Valiant dashing in, breaking down those defenses, but still unable to pull it away from Falcons. And Falcons with this game.
Twisted Minds only truly exploded in the final 3 games, but that was already enough. The final 2 golden tickets belong to Thailand, but the war is far from over. 6 final grand finals spots still remain. Who will be the next? Everything will be decided during the final 3 days of the knockout stage, May 15th, 16th, and 17th. Don't miss week 4 of FFWS C2026 Spring, and keep supporting your favorite teams.
Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that.
One came to an end, and the battlefield of FFWS C2026 Spring had begun to take shape. Thailand rose to dominate the standings, claiming the entire top 4. 2 Team of the Day titles belong to Twisted Minds and Team Falcons. Team Falcons charge forward like a machine of destruction, the only team to break the 200-point mark with 4 dominant booyahs. AG doesn't need booyahs. They hunt eliminations, apply pressure, and hold firmly at top 2 as a warning to everyone.
And now he might get a 4th one here, and Han goes down! Cypher takes them all out!
Buriram United had a slow start, but Kings always know when to accelerate.
Through all of those players, dig way down on the ground, and buildup coming in here to finish them off one after the other. Demon can't do much. It's a 4v1, and Moshi finally puts an end to that.
the class of the defending champions never truly fades. Indonesia became the stage of shocking upsets. Giants are falling. Even the EWC defending champions managed only 10 points on day 3, dropping all the way to top 18, an unbelievable collapse.
He gets smacked out as well. There goes Evo's 12th place, bottom 3, third game in a row.
But inside that chaos, a new generation.
The truck running down those blue walls, and that removes RRQ from the equation. What a decision made here by the Vietnamese squad. BE secure. On fire drops him. One final player from the side of Twisted Minds. 3v1. Make that 3v0. Falcons, you're back-to-back Clash Squad and Battle Royale champions, the dominators of Thailand.
Represent, gotta do hella big, had to run it back again. Light it up. Represent, had to do hella big, had to run it back again. Light it. Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is a Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2026 Spring, and we are about to begin the final leg of knockout stage before we head into Point Rush and Grand Finals. Final 6 ticket up for grabs. Out of the 12 teams, the final 12 teams that we have for the remaining 3 days. The only question, though, is who's going to bring it home? On this, I'm Neptune Jenmer Garcia, together with my brother, the Mustachio AJ.
The final qualifier stretch, Neptune, and we have limited spots, my friend. We have already seen the 6 teams from week 3 find their qualifier, and now the biggest problem is we've got too many Titans still alive in the battle, and we are looking for the top 6. We've got 18 matches to go. It is a stretch of a 3-day battle, today, tomorrow, and the day after. But of course, what's all this hustle for? $300,000 on the line, and the champions get to walk away with the biggest slice of the pie. That's $100K USD.
Oh, definitely a game changer, life-changing amount in there for the champions. But a good story, though, for everyone who has participated in this tournament. They will be getting pieces of all that pie in different sizes. But also for those who are performing for each and every day, they will be getting a few extra, like the Team of the Day bonus that is $250. And once we get into Grand Finals, not only are they getting that $100,000, they also have that Grand Final MVP prize.
Absolutely, man. And of course, this is the tournament timeline. We've got Phase 1, Phase 2. We are currently in Phase 2. Phase 1 was completed already within the first 2 weeks. You guys saw the first half of Phase 2 completed last week, where we saw the first 6 teams. 2 teams on each day, on the 8th, 9th, and the 10th, found their qualifier towards the Grand Finals. Early qualifier, I'll have to say. And this is the details of the tournament format. A little bit of a breakdown here, because the knockout stage within Phase 1, we had our groups, we split them up, we tried to match them up against each other, and all we were looking for is the best of the best. In Phase 2 is when they qualify for the Grand Finals. Early qualifiers on the 3rd week basically means that 6 slots have already been taken up. Only 12 slots are available at the Grand Finals, where we will play Point Rush on the 30th of May, and of course, the Champion Rush on the 31st.
Yeah, a combination of Point Rush and Champion Rush. First seen from one of the EWC and now being brought back in the Southeast Asian scene. But going back to Phase 2, again, this is the final leg. We're in the top 2 has been in the tournament already from last week. This time, 3 days of battle. The final 12 teams will be duking it out, and their goal would be the top 6. Whether they get it on elimination, whether they get it on a placement, or a combination of both, they need to hustle right now, because from what we've seen and from what we've witnessed, these top dogs will not be slowing down, especially if this is their final chance.
So we are on the second half of Phase 2. We are in Week 4, which means the final 12 teams are left in the competition. And through 3 days of battle, once again, we will pick out the creme de la creme. The top 6 teams will move on into the Grand Finals, joining the first 6 that made the early qualifier. How do you get to the top? It is the same as it has always been. You score the booyah, you walk away with 12 placement points, 9 placement points for that second spot. Each and every single consecutive spot after that just reduces by 1 point. But down at the very bottom, 11th and 12th placing gets you no placement points at all. But every elimination, though, do get the squad points. Every elimination counts for 1 point.
And if there are any tie that will be happening all throughout the tournament, first we count the number of booyahs, then follow the total elimination. And if that doesn't fix it, we go in for the final game ranking points. But this is one thing that we have seen so much that has brought a lot of excitement in Free Fire, the unique active skill, wherein teams are now more tactical based on the active skill that they're bringing right now. It shows their presence as well as their intention all throughout the game.
Absolutely, man. 4 unique active skills need to be used out there. You cannot repeat any one of these active skills. And this has definitely made a lot more excitement possible out here when we are watching as the audience, right? But, of course, what's a little bit more exciting is the fact that our Champion Rush format this time rounds have got unlimited games, which means until we find a team that achieves this, getting into that 80 points and then securing a booyah in one of their following games, the first team to do that, of course, becomes champion. But until we find a team capable of doing this, we do not end the day. This could go up to 15 games, 20 games, I don't know. It depends on how the squads want to get it done and how good they are at stopping the other teams from getting to this condition first.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's more of a momentum base if you are the ones of the top dogs, but we also see a lot of contention happening right there. We're in denial will be done by most of the teams, especially if they're close enough to be the champion. So let's see, though, what the storyline will be bringing us right now. We did talk about Champion Rush, but let's head over to Knockout Stage because, again, you did mention about top dogs still in this mix of teams. Most of the time, we will just be looking into the bottom performing teams after the cream of the crop would be moving forward. But we still have teams like Borim United, Evo's Divine, and a few more like Secret WAG. And those would be the threat right now out of the teams that we have right here.
And of course, the rising Aurora Gaming out of Malaysia, I think they have definitely been standing out a little bit more than the other squads because it's a team that has somehow found recovery in their old playstyle, right? And this is the season for Axel because it's the meta that favors the snipers a little bit more. It favors the players who are capable of playing those long-range weapons, either the marksman or the snipers out there. You've got a little bit of balancing in terms of the damage towards the limbs, which counts as damage directly to the bodies least now. The armor penetration is the same, and increased armor penetration of those snipers definitely make those guns a little bit more favored. We are seeing some of those squads running with 4 marksmen, some of them running a double marksman, double sniper. Very interesting. But of course, by the way, fun fact, Buriram's losing momentum. I don't know if this is a fact, but Buriram had the highest score during phase 1 of the knockout stage. But this is the first time they have ever had to compete in week 4 of the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia tournament. And I'm excited for it because usually we do see a little bit of dip in excitement towards the very end because the teams are like, oh, Buriram's not here. A lot of people come to witness these boys play out there on the battlefield. We cannot deny it. It's very exciting whenever we witness them in action.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's a good thing that they are showing up right now. Hopefully, they are not showing up most of the tactics that they have on their playbook. But another team that showed so much excitement when they were introduced is Shadow Esports. The aggression coming from the team is quite phenomenal, but it's more of a consistency that we need to look at if we are going to eye at them to get into the grand finals.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then, of course, Magna Esports, one of the Malaysian squads who are probably not the most dangerous ones out there on the battlefield. So they're definitely going to have a little bit of a slugfest trying to squeeze themselves into the top 6. We've got many of the Vietnam squads still alive and kicking in the competition. You've got Team Flash, you've got Heavy, you've got the players on the side of Secret WAG. I think that's the biggest blow so far for some people who have been really hoping and praying for Secret WAG to make that qualify to the grand finals, because they have got a huge fan base behind them in terms of the Vietnamese circuit. And guess where's the grand finals happening? It's happening in Vietnam. So I wonder if WAG can make it this time around. I mean, they flunked out a couple of times already, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. Couple of times to be exact, as you did mention, because they were already in the top. But at some point, a lot of teams are pushing them down. And we also witnessed wherein the final day from last week was the great disappointment for Secret WAG. Wherein they're already dominating at the #1 spot. But here it comes to the teams from the other region who just took them down, Falcons and Twisted Mind. That's just a few points short of them making it, and they could have been waiting already. But I guess they still have a chance. Top 6 is much easier to achieve than top 2.
Yeah, I agree. Top 6 definitely much more easier than top 2. Biggest problem is, again, the number of Titan squads that we've got in the competition. So it's not going to be easy at all, especially when you go towards the bottom of the top 6. The 5th and 6th spots definitely going to be eyed by many of these squads, and the fight is going to be severe. Nexterra, Kalahari, Bermuda, Solara, Purgatory. This will be the sequence of maps that we'll go through, and then thanks to the fact we've taken Alpine out of the map rotation, we get the randomizer. That means one team, or maybe a couple of teams, get blessed with a little bit of extra luck to perform on a map that they prefer.
Yeah, that's one thing though. I mean, they need to show up first on the first 5, and then that's where we can decide on which team might be moving faster on that final game. But we'll have to see, because it's a weeks of rest. Everyone's refreshed, though we saw some of the teams who are somewhat sleeping or probably just resting, preparing themselves. They're slowly locking in, but hopefully they bring the fire right now, because, well, this is a time that they unleash the fire. But let's take a look on our predictions right now. It's somewhat the same. It's just the order that is different. So we have Buriram United, WAG, and Evo Divine.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed that both of us are right about WAG. Unfortunately, even if they do manage to perform extremely well today, they don't get the early qualifier anymore. It's not that kind of a format anymore. They have to play through all 3 days, which means even if one of these 3 squads get to the top, consistency is going to be key, Neptune, for them to stay in a spot to qualify. I kind of do agree with you. Yes, top 6 much easier than top 2, but up against so many squads who are hungry to fly to Vietnam. I know the Malaysians are definitely hungry to get it done this time around. Aurora Gaming is very confident that this is going to be the season where they're going to be in top flight once again in terms of performance. If we kind of see some shadow of that out of them, but not as consistent as we would like them to be. Problem is, there are many other squads who we've highlighted already who are good, but not consistent as well. That puts all of them back on the same level. We even have Onyx Olympus, one of the champions of C, in here. Nobody knows how they got it done, but that's the thing, right? To get the dream run, you gotta get into the grand finals, you gotta play Champion Rush, and you gotta bet everything down on that one day.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Onyx Olympus has been showing up in the first few weeks of Phase 1. There's just a lot of surprises that has been brought in, not only by Onyx Olympus, you did mention about Aurora Gaming, and that's where all those hopes come from. Because we're seeing that firepower, despite of the heavy hitters in Southeast Asia, we're seeing a few of the teams just rising up slowly. But in crucial moments wherein you need to target top 2 or top 6, that's where they need to do a lot more. Whether it's if aggression is not working, they go in placement and vice versa. But I guess this is where we find out what's going to happen, because we're going to jump into our first map, and it would be in Nexterra.
Let's go, baby, as we head on into a map that's going to be absolutely tough if you do not have a decent front line. The active skills that you bring into this matchup better be well prepped to find a couple of decent engagements. Those Oscars are going to be important. Those Valiant dashes are definitely going to be key to breaking down some of these defenses, as Nexterra just has got so many of these defensive compounds that are fit for a couple of M590s or Max 7 gameplay. But of course, the main priority is seeing who gets the hot drop.
Let's see, darling. From what we're looking at, Onyx Olympus is trying to get away from every engagement possible from that drop. And now, Rustdown might be occupied by 2 teams. It's Shadow Esports, but VDXKDC, they went past through them. And now dropping in Mudside, who might be meeting up with PE Sports. Also, somewhere down south, we might see Team Flash going against Evo Divine, but let's take a peek at that later on.
Buriram have already secured 2 Booyahs on this map alongside WAG. They are the dominators of this map. Can they continue to dominate here as well? On the opening day of Week 4, Shadow Esports finding 1 point off of the Magna Esports players, who have definitely been struggling just a tad bit here. Virus backing away. Mini Uzi in hand up against the VSS. Virus knows that he has no chance. Rin just has to circle around here. Chilzy, easy knockdown. Ooh, but just not taking any risk whatsoever. Here they come, Valiant Dash! And the Oscar fails because the timing was off. Rin gets away with this. Chilzy finally sprayed down. Get Boo taken out of the equation on the opposite side as well. Magna Esports not having a great run up against Shadow, who have already found 3 eliminations. They have to be careful though. Aurora smells blood in the air, and they might just drop by to see if they can get some of the points off of them.
And this is unfortunate for Magna Esports. They only have 1 player remaining. The revive has been done already. Shadow Esports is trying to go for a recovery, and now the player will be back. But Aurora Gaming, from all sides, they will need to cover this approach if they want to take advantage of Shadow Esports. But the Bryn for a potential backstab, but West with a Mag 7 as well as Ari Azrael with that MP5 just brought 2 of their players down after revive just happened.
Just a little unfortunate. The Koda was on cooldown there. He did manage to bring out the Aurora Vision, but that was just literally a split second right before he got knocked down to the ground. So information could not be played to their advantage. Shadow Esports on a rough restart here after picking up some points off of the Magna Esports players. Onyx Olympus, nearby Aurora. Aurora thought of being the third party. They did manage to farm some points off of Shadow, but now a open field battle between Onyx Olympus, the reigning C champions from our spring season last year. Shadow, early exit out of this Nexterra lobby.
It's just unfortunate. They were the aggressors earlier against Magna Esports, and they're the first one to go down. Now, going back to Aurora Esports, Aurora Gaming going against Onyx Olympus. Onyx Olympus just backed away, positioned themselves near that vending machine if in case they spell trouble. But will they be able to get position? Because from what we're seeing on that bridge earlier, we have 1 straggler from Onyx Olympus who might be able to backstab Suez and the rest of the gang. But they're being cautious as well, because we also saw the Axel go in for the flank, staying behind if in case they need a revive.
Let's see how Aurora works their way around the Onyx players, who are all choosing to stick together. Aurora's just looking for a better defensive spot, but they can't abandon that vending machine. As I say that, they stay right on it, taking that higher ground. Zuez looking for the Woodpecker knock, doesn't find it just yet. Crime! M24 and the VSK in the hands of Crime. Usually we see him playing close range. But due to the weapons that he's holding on his hands right now, he just has to stay far, far away from Aurora whilst the rest of the Onyx players get into position to take on Aurora. Axel's going to be chased down, has got the mini Uzi in hand. The sniper of the squad doesn't have his preferred guns just yet. And this is going to be the end for Axel. Unfortunate that he couldn't find the right loot.
And that's one thing though, I mean, Aurora Gaming has been forced to go into Rust Down, and then Onyx Olympus smartly went into that bridge, go for a ring around the Rosie to isolate the player or the sniper of Aurora Gaming, the Axel. And it's a good way of taking points, but it's finishing their entire squad that they need to do. And speaking of finishing the entire squad, Magna Esports might be the team that will be feeling that as they go against Argon, wherein coming from the same region, they might know the same tactics that they will be pulling off.
Unfortunately, you just don't know who you're battling up against out there on the battlefield. Is this going to be enough for them? Alips gets that spray down. Unfortunately, could not stand up long enough to get a couple of knocks for himself. Getbu trapped by that A124 thrill of battle. Could not use his active skill in that situation. Chronos used up already. Noki has got no backup, but he doesn't need it. The UMP SMG working out perfectly for him, and Virus with the VSK from afar getting that knock. Fai's all alone though in this 1v1. Two players with the VSK up against each other, and Fai's choosing to not play this risky fight. Goes to look for the vending machine, but Magna is on that vending machine. This is probably the final run here for Fai's if he's not careful. But thankfully, it's the two players that were knocked down earlier. So Fai's gets a triple revival and enough cash and should be able to secure these two eliminations as well.
Yeah, that makes it 4 eliminations for the team right now. And one reason why Magna Esports did lose that fight is because of the A124. Though they have an A124 for themselves, but that Cassie and Oscar Valiant Dash has been disabled by Argon. So that's one thing that they need to worry about. If they can get away or buy time until that thrill of battle expires, then they need not to get close. But Argon might have a good view of Crime right now, who's still hanging on that bridge.
Oh, Cryo Mine played perfectly. Faiz, does he get the tag? Yes, he gets the tag. Beautiful. Crime takes the plushie out, gets himself marked. Now Faiz knows exactly where to focus his VSK towards. Already has the enhanced hammer, beefing up that VSK with those shots. Crime's VSK is not beefed up just yet. Virus! Ooh. Like a little bit of a vaccine. They shot him with the perfect dose. So 2v1, that Virus did no chance.
Oh yeah, no chance indeed. Stuck in the corner, nowhere to go, and no help coming from either of the teammates. But as I look at the Evo's Divine right now, Liv is silent, even outside the blue. Spots a few players, a couple of players from Avitex KDC, but they're not firing. They want to play this safe. But I think from the other side, from that high ground, Lucid Longkong has spotted them already, and they might need to relocate. And even Argon is trying not to move that quickly because I think they know that WAG has been waiting on them. Shots coming from Chikui might have prompted them from that danger. And let's see if they'll be able to take advantage. Noki going solo right now. If he is isolated, there goes the team of Argon.
Level 3 Winchester, damn, the guns on WAG is looking solid at this point of time. Argon, MY better back away. This is not the kind of squad you want to be messing around with. The looting progress for WAG, Secret WAG has been a solid one. Noki onto the right, RGS 50. Grenade's going to be breaking down his defenses. M590 took 2 players to get that done though. Not as efficient as I would have expected that to be. Secret WAG picks up yet another point. Vehicle right in front. Argon manages to get away as Traps brings Noki back into play. A smooth escape for Argon.
Yeah, smooth escape. Let's see if they can revive their teammates right now. For WAG, they didn't manage to get the re-elimination out of that, but I'm quite surprised. The leader of this pack right now is Onyx Olympus. From the beginning, they were the threat of the team. They were taken down as well, but now recovery has been made by Zairu. But they need to move. They are still outside and rust down, and even the rest of the squad who's dropping in will be staying outside of the blue. I don't know if that's a smart move because later on, they will be losing a few of those real estates.
Okay, next zone moving straight towards Plazaria. Farmtopia Boxing Gym still having their compounds within the next zone. This is still quite a lot of defensive spots, and that's why you gotta love Nexterra. And you gotta be prepared to have those M590s, even though it is
the meta of the snipers. You definitely want to get the job done up close and personal. Hey, what do you think? What do your numbers say, Neptune, about the probability of Onyx becoming the back-to-back spring champions here?
Well, based on the performance that they have thrown, it seems like they're still in the bubble of not getting into the top. Close, but still low. So that's one thing that we need to do, and that's probably one reason why they're doing exceptional right now, because they know that they need to catch up. They know that they need to increase that averages so that they will be able to secure the top 6, especially if teams like Evo's Divine would not be moving that fast.
Absolutely, man. And what do you think about the probability of a guaranteed qualifier for EVOS Divine is? Because these guys have just been slacking, I think, the whole season. I mean, granted, they've got a slot at the Esports World Cup already, but I did not expect this version out of them. I did expect them to not be as aggressive after they became champions of the Esports World Cup, but this has dragged on for way too long, in my opinion, Nep.
Well, from my perspective, EVO's Divine, when they hit the high notes, it's really high. And it's just, if this is intentional, again, I don't want to put any heat on the team, but if this is intentional, that they don't want to show their prowess just yet, then there's a possibility that they be able to do it. They're playing it right now like the top dogs, slow in the beginning, and then later on, that's when they're being the fire. But if teams like Buildup United will be there, heavy, still alive, then that will be tough later on.
Credit where credit is due. I think the Observer squad has definitely leveled up in terms of how they are following these fights. It's much more cleaner here in week 4. Love the fact that we had a spot on that circle, just giving us a little bit of a preview of the chaos that's about to explode. Dude, we've got 10 full squads still alive and kicking. They're all making their way. I mean, defensive spots are running out, but they're still available. This is Nexterra.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Nexterra, despite of how small some of the compounds are, it still will be available in most area of the map. So all they have to do right now is wait. Third to the fourth phase is now closing in, and it might show the next phase that still favors a lot of teams right here, especially for the 2 Vietnamese in this area, together with Buildup United. So Plazaria would still be occupied by a lot of teams, but Aurora Gaming, a little bit too deep, but might be taken by the blue in a bit.
Okay, now let's see. EVOS clearly is ready for this battle, but I don't see any bit of enhanced hammer level up on their guns just yet. And I'm surprised. I would expect Rasia to have all of those beefed up guns on his side. Ray has got the M249. He's ready for some wild sprays in a little bit. They're not lucky enough to pick up a cord here for themselves. Aurora moving into the defensive spot, and I believe that Lightning Zone could have been called by Aurora just to keep the other. Yep, it is definitely Aurora's Lightning Zone. Smart play, smart rotation coming through from the Malaysian squad.
That's one thing, though. I mean, they know the position they have. It's quite close to the edge of the circle, and they identify that there's a few teams that might be going in out in the open or in that compound. So that's what they need to do right now. And I think they spotted a few players from Vita XKDC as well. Going back to your point of that enhanced hammer, looking at what EVO's Divine has brought in, I think they have a couple of tactical market and a couple of team boosters. And enhanced hammer hasn't seen the highlight just yet in the Southeast Asian scene.
Flash taking advantage of the teams moving in. They managed to get one knock onto WAG, but the instant recovery was possible there for them. Aurora, on the other hand, have not brought their player back in because that vending machine's just a tad bit too far. Argon MY out in the open. And that is just deadly shots, one after the other. Faiz all alone, calls for the monster truck, but that's not going to give them the backup that they require to block those shots off. Argon just took a heavy hit before they can make it into the next zone. But at least we get to minus off 1 squad from the equation here, because, dude, that's just way too many squads alive for the next tiny little circle that we have on the map.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's tough to say how that's going to end right now. And there you have it. The next phase of the circle has shown up already. A couple of teams just on the edge. And look at that middle part. It's only the road and a few covers that they can utilize right here. So thus, Buildup United will be staying right here. Onyx Olympus jumping in just next to PE Sports. But it's the high ground. Our second floor that's being taken by PE Sports. I think it's Heavy, whom they might be meeting in a bit. But DMH, I know what he's doing right now. He might look like he's not moving, but he's listening on those sound cues to find out how many opponents and if they're moving fast.
Okay, well, Heavy's not going to move anywhere. That A124 clipping them instantaneously, and they are locked in, literally. Just waiting for the thrill of battle to cool off before they can make any sort of movements out there. Ah, man. That A124 at one point used to just be fairly a big risk, right? A double-edged sword, especially with the Joseph being available as the passives out there. But now it's just too valuable because some of these active skills are ridiculous in terms of advantage. And that A124 comes in perfectly handy, especially for a quick ambush. But in a circle like this, with so many players still alive, I don't know if it is going to be enough. Look at this. Players on that revival. Argon actually managed to hit that revive. Players from Malaysia dropping in, not shot out of the sky just yet because of the chaos that's going on. Everybody's inside a compound. Nobody's looking up.
Well, let's see though. I mean, the team that can't be moved right now is Onyx Olympus, stuck in the corner. Same goes with Heavy's Don't Cry, Mufasa, and Siege 1. Perhaps though, trapped from above. I didn't even know where Buram United managed to sneak that shot in, but Jonah is making it work. Hard 98. And Evo's Divine has the best advantage, oversight on everyone right here.
This is Southeast Asia. This shows you how each and every single one of these squads are hungry and how well they have managed to master this game, master this map, rotating in, avoiding those engagements, making sure they escape from any bit of heat to survive in towards the final circle. We still have 35 players alive and kicking, 10 squads on the map. This is ridiculous. And Nexterra, man, oh man. Just that map if you want to find a little bit of pandemonium towards the end. If you step on out and take a shot, everybody else is going to be shooting at you as well. So you got to play defensive and offense at the same time. Placement points are important, but those eliminations are going to be coming in handy as well for you to stay alive. Buriram, Moshi down on the ground. Can he be picked up? No, outside the circle. Moshi unfortunate. And the rest of Buriram, they go after Onyx. They find one Nocturna down on the ground. Jonah still up and kicking, but Esports interferes. They need those glue walls. They find none. Wasana sets up a glue wall. Abandons Captain Jonah, runs away and still survives, looking for a couple of placement points for Buriram.
Quite surprising. It's Onyx Olympus who puts so much pressure on Buram United, but with the introduction of PE Sport, it has been turned around. Nero for the potential backstab at the glue wall, perfectly timed, but will Wasana escape? Avitex KDC has been eliminated. The 1v4 escape, and it is Wasana doing a Houdini in this game.
Oh, Wasana with the great footwork there. I mean, managing to play those glue walls perfectly. And PE Sports was struggling to find a decent spot for themselves in the next circle as well. Didn't want to get tagged up by the zone, making them move around. They do scan him out with the binoculars, but Buriram, smart enough. Wasana pulling out the monster truck, getting away to a safer spot, at least for the next few seconds. PE Sports, only 3 eliminations in hand. Another battle has broken out. This time, a civil war between the Vietnamese players, WAG and Flash. And Flash, in a flashy fashion, takes Secret WAG out of the equation. 12 eliminations strong. Flash definitely looking like the best squad out there right now.
Yeah, Flash right now, I mean, currently, based on the numbers that they are third. And let's see if they can bring up the numbers. There's still a lot of contenders, especially in the high ground. Heavy, who might be able to go for the backstab. But PE Sports, with the pressure that's being brought in, as well as their sights still stuck on Wasana, I don't think they will be jumping into battle just yet, trying to recover. But no, it's a steal coming from the Alphabet King, ABCD.
This is just an all-out civil war for the final battle of Nexterra. 3 Vietnamese squads alive and kicking. Flash and PE Sports with a full squad. PE in a very close proximity with Team Heavy, and this is not going to be good if they want to secure the booyah here for themselves. Flash already looking strong with the number of eliminations that they have for themselves. Heavy, so many glue wall melters around them. They're going to have their defenses smashed down. PE Sports rotating towards to the right, and Flash very sneakily moving towards that high ground advantage, taking shots at both Heavy and PE Sports at the same time. Lao Ho gets the elimination off of Mufasa, and this is Heavy going down. Don't Cry, unfortunate as he turns his back onto Team Flash. They finally jump into action, taking that shot. 2 players right up in front. Those active skills not coming out. Snappy popped out, and that Painted Refuge giving them the defenses they require as ABCD sorts out Mink. Narrow the final one. Not enough to take down Flash, who was so solid from start to end of this Nexterra map.
As the saying goes, better late than never, and that's what Team Flash did. They were late in that 3-0 battle, but they took advantage overall. Booyah being taken by Vietnam's Team Flash. But either way that final 3 battle go, it still goes to Vietnam.
I mean, mad respect to Flash. I think they had the strategy down to the T, and the Painted Refuge, obviously a very big difference maker in the final zone gameplay, where you know those nades are going to come raining down on you, and the use of the thrill of battle was timed perfectly. They avoided the engagement with PE Esports, rotating towards that high ground, avoided Heavy as well, and the moment they saw PE Esports turn around to engage with Heavy, they ran straight in, activated the thrill of battle, locked both of them in, and then turned it into a pure gunfight for survival as far as Heavy and PE Esports were concerned. And of course, the rest of the Flash players, they just had fun with them towards that final circle. I mean, a great game start to end for Flash this time round, Neptune.
And that's one thing, the Steffi's Painted Refuge has been undermined so many times.
Yes.
They were forgetting that it restores 10% of their armor, as well as reduce the damage. Not only the throwables, but even the ammo damage coming from the other team. So that golden ring of the Painted Refuge being brought in was just crucial for Team Flash's victory.
I would not be surprised if the player that brought in the Painted Refuge also has a shiny on them with the gear recycle. I think it just beefs them up a little bit further, right? I think Flash was definitely playing on the defensive very smartly, but it's not like they were not going in for the offense. That A124 was a big, had a big role to play in these battles as well. But a majority of the fights that Flash was initially taking were the long range ones. This is Team Flash playing on the meta very, very smartly as far as the guns are concerned and as far as the timing as well as the active skills. But can they keep this up in terms of a consistent pacing? Because we've seen big games out of Flash. We've also seen some disappointing runs out of them as well. They've got a brand new coach, and I think magic is definitely being worked there. I did expect them to find early qualifier into the finals, though, which I'm, well, clearly not seeing since they're playing the final week here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the same expectation is coming from everyone. The top 2 is just a little bit too hard to reach, and that's one reason as well why we implore from the first phase, we implore everyone to reach top 12 easily, so at least they have a better fighting chance, and find out how they will be finding those final circles. And it's just difficult to happen based on what we've seen from these games up until now, and it's still getting exciting despite of how difficult the teams are in. And that's where, sorry to say for the teams, that's where our fun begins.
That's exactly where our fun begins. But of course, a little bit too much of chaos, though. I don't like these heavy squad circles where you've got 10 teams, 40 players still alive and kicking. Because you just don't get to play a good strategic, fight up against anyone with the fear of always having to watch your back, watch your sides, especially because their shots can come from anywhere, right? And I think Wasana played that very smartly as far as surviving went, but he couldn't get very far with it. I think he didn't manage to get a lot more placement points for the squad. Moshi getting taken down early was a very big surprise for me because they didn't even stop by to pick him up. The attempt was not there because they knew that the circle was going to be severely damaging in that situation. And of course, your MVP, the Zom, walking away with 6 eliminations, Neptune, 2,869 on the damage.
Yeah, and wearing that shield gun, I guess from the early part of that game, and that's the only thing available, they managed to get a few of those eliminations in from that specific weapon. The God follows with 5 eliminations, so we know for a fact that they have brought in a lot of those points already. And we have Crime with 4 points. That high ground definitely was a great vantage point to get all those eliminations. Same goes with Nan, 7, and ABCD. But let's take a peek on the skills that they have been brought in. So we have the A124, Oscar, Steffi, and the Moors. Surprising combination overall, but I'm loving that they're introducing Moors right here.
Yeah, no gear recycle, but you can see the Thiva and Nikita there. So this is a very balanced play here from Mink. He's looking to be the backup player for the squad, the support player to go in there for those revives, for those pickups. But at the very same time, with him having the Nikita and Joseph on him shows that he wants to be a fighter on the front lines. This is a very interesting composition coming through from Team Flash. I would say a decent balance between aggression as well as defense, and it has worked out perfectly for them, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I'm really loving as well how they managed to use that combination to their advantage, as well as the loadout they brought in. They're one of the few that has an enhanced hammer. But let's take a look at the numbers that they have. So this is just phenomenal out of the team. It's not as if they are hanging in their long-range engagement, not really that aggressive. You can see the numbers coming from them. Even it's not that high on the damage, but you know that they can end and confirm those eliminations. Specifically with ABCD as well as Mink with the support or with the assist out there, it was just awesome.
Yeah, oh, what a game for Team Flash. 18 eliminations for a 30-pointer bomber thanks to the 12 points that they pick off of the Booyah as well. Secret WAG right behind them. But Buriram managed to actually overtake PE Esports here thanks to their placement points as well as the eliminations. This one, big respect to the player from Buriram, the one and only Gold Wasana with the survival skills. I mean, the man should have already gotten taken out, but he somehow managed to survive through those very well-placed glue walls and timing to find the reposition on the battlefield. But towards the bottom, this is where you start to have questions. What is EVOS Divine doing down there?
I don't know. I mean, it's the questions that we throw every day that we see them. They're always at the bottom right now, and there still is a chase to the top 6. So, again, they might not want any piece of this prize pool, because if it's the road to EWC, definitely they will be part of it. So hopefully we see a few more movements coming from them, but I don't know. I mean, I want to hope more, but I don't think they want to give that wish to come through.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that was a pretty chaotic match. Neptune, you will definitely agree with me, because there was just no room for error. And I'm very surprised, pleasantly surprised, how Flash managed to navigate that situation very well. First of all, their positioning was a solid one, and they did use a couple of binoculars just to stay away from a lot of the heat, a lot of the action. Some favoritism from the circle towards the very end as well started moving towards them, so they didn't really have to reposition out in the open. And the other bigger teams were having a little bit of a trouble in terms of bumping into each other. The shots were fired, teams like PE Esports, Buriram. But I would have to say, amazing decision making from Buriram. They saw Onyx taking advantage of the position that Buriram had thanks to the circle that was pressuring them. Onyx took advantage, and PE Esports said, we have to take advantage too. They were the bigger winners in that equation.
I do agree. I mean, it's just taking down top dogs like that brings you motivation, but they only find it out after the entire match. So let's see though if that would show more aggression coming from the team, because we know that they have a firepower, that it's more of the strategy that they are looking into for those slow paces. But let's see if this will be slow right now. Next up is the desert lands of Kalahari, and this is where the sniper reigns.
Absolutely, where the snipers will reign at the top. The high ground advantage that you look for will be granted. First of all, you gotta get the hook gun for yourself, which is fairly easy to get your hands on. But can you get your hands on to your snipers? That's gonna be very important. We saw a couple of snipers within that first round there at Nexterra, and they could not get their hands on their preferred weapons. I think Axel was definitely a little bit disappointed with the run that he had, because if he had managed to get the proper loot initially, I don't think he would have been running. He would have definitely stood his ground and fought. At least a VSK is going to be important for some of these snipers to find early game.
Yeah, I do agree, and that's one thing. If you were only proficient based on your role, then that would be the same trouble that you will be encountering in most cases. But let's see though. I mean, we have seen a few of those snipers on the CQC, even on the VSK, even on an SMG. But let's see if that would change. Team Flash, the Booyah takers from earlier, dealing with EVOS Divine, and AimGad managed to take down the MVP from the previous round. Now let's see if EVOS can finish this. AimGad almost being taken down. The combination of ABCD as well as Mink try and put pressure, but with those inhalers, he managed to recuperate. But will he be able to finish this up? This might be the Booyah curse in play, but no, Team Flash still managed to survive, prioritizing in a pickup, and they get 2 points or 3 points.
Amazing footwork off of ABCD, and I have to say the confidence with the mini Uzi was just beaming at that point, right? He knew that the player was trying to pick up his own team members instead of focusing on taking him down, and he took advantage advantage of that situation. EVOS Divine, we saw how they crashed out in that first game, and they almost crashed out 2 games in a row, man. Those revives were pretty instantaneous, so the team does get to have a little bit of a reset here. The stealth bites off of Morse. C1 finding the reposition. Perhaps Shadow Esports might end up in an engagement up against the player. But I'm not so sure what he's doing out in the open for so long. He needs to make up his mind as the stealth bite expires. I guess he thought he was all alone here.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably all alone, fixing a little bit of that HUD, but it's not the time. It's not the time for that. Alan right now, it's a good thing he get a little bit back up from the other side. Sichuan! They managed to spot out and damage Rin. Now, this is playtime. No more fixing. It's more of the aggression. Alan! See, Shinzi anticipate that he would be moving on the other side, and this might be a takedown bound to happen.
Oh, Shinzi, smart play. Sichuan knocked down by Axel. Axel got the VSK early this time around, and that's what I'm talking about. Axel with the snipes. Axel with the VSK is a different kind of monster altogether. And now this is Heavy, still on the heavy focus of looking for the Shadow Esports players. Alan spots one. Long shots. Finding Zues as well. Aurora has been spotted out. This could be information, great information to the side of Heavy to not go in for a very aggressive rush, looking for small points on Shadow and then getting caught out by Aurora.
Well, let's see though. I mean, Oversight still on Heavy. It might be spotting a few of those shadows, but we don't see the full squad. And there might be a little bit of surprise, especially if they have a launch pad. Spotting Don't Cry on this high ground. Aurora has been left behind right now, or Aurora might have just flee and just moved out because they are being shot at from out of nowhere that they don't know. But Heavy right now, the mission is still on. Despite of only one player, they don't care. They bring the fire and they want a point.
Absolutely, man. I mean, they're looking for the big points here. Sichuan out of the equation. Team Flash again. As aggressive as we saw them in Nexterra, this is the kind of Flash we want to see. Consistent with the numbers. But Flash versus Aurora, this is going to be a big fight. Axel, great position he's holding on to pressure the Zom. Zom understands that, quickly backs away from the top floor. ABCD on the other hand, spotting out Azrael. Up on top, Mink with a charge buster on for the chase. LBT drops ABCD. Mink found by Mufasa. A 3-way battle. Heavy enters the fray as well.
Well, let's see, Heavy is still far away, but I think Team Flash would be splitting up. They don't want the pressure coming from the two teams, and I guess it's more of the anticipation that one team is already on their side, but they don't know where those shots come from, so they need to move fast. One, though, trying to fly away, missed by the God, but will he be going for the chase directly where he dropped, or is it about time for them to turn tails, make a U-turn, regroup with the rest of the squad?
Probably not the best situation. Oh, Valiant Dash. Mistake by ABCD with the distance. I don't really know exactly what he was thinking there. But C2 just saw that playing out in slow motion ahead of him and was like, thank you for the free point.
Well, let's see. 3 points being gathered. Avita XKDC might be able to spot another one right here, hanging onto the wall. But he's not Humpty Dumpty, and there's no all the king's horses to all the king's men. Avita would be breaking him down, and they grab the first point. But it's just unfortunate that they then don't get a few of their teammates to completely eliminate the full squad. But again, it's already fifth minute running, and we still have 12 teams. It might still be chaos later on, AJ.
Okay, these players are really taking advantage of this Oscar at this point of time in the most worst way possible, okay? The timing of the Valiant Dashes have not been the best today. But Lightning Zone seems to be the best in terms of timing here for Aurora, pressuring Team Magna. Here comes the ice grenades to force them out of their defenses. Zues pushing on fourth. He's got a little bit of an advantage here as Azrael flanks towards that right, pulls out the time turner to just top himself right back up with the health. Zues, a double glue wall to protect himself. M590, but Jans has got that backup of the electrotherapy, but that's nothing up against two players. The rest of the Aurora players going straight on fourth. June with the flank, gets a knock for himself as well. And now Aurora on the hunt for Virus, the final player on the side of Magna. And I think this could just be game over. As he gets tagged up by the cryo mine, Avita trying to pull that point off of him.
No.
Zues almost got that shot if he had acted a little bit faster.
Well, let's see though. And that's one thing though. They might be able to take down Magna Esports, but they are now in the open against Avida. And let's see what Aurora Gaming will be doing right there, right now. For Argon MY, they spot out a full squad of WAG running out in the open, but I don't know what the ideation here, right here. But oh, Esports taken out. We didn't even know who took them down.
PE down for the count. And now Avida preying on the players of Aurora. EVOS arriving at the right time here to perhaps save Aurora. No, they're going to be preying off of them as well. This is a GG for the Aurora player. Surrounded by the White Tigers. EVOS definitely looking for that recovery game here. Probably booking a battle up against Avida XKDC right after. They're done with Jun. No binoculars being used within the area. EVOS doesn't need it, I guess. Jun finally spotted out. Coach Shield with the Charge Buster. The timing of the Charge Buster. But he's been capped by that A124. Locked down by the thrill of battle. And Ray with that flying shot will take the final play of Aurora out of the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible that we're seeing in here a combination of the hook gun as well as a weapon, whether it's a CQC weapon like an SMG or shotgun, or a sniper or marksman is being used by the team in Kalahari. It still works for them. We're talking about pros right here. And as we look at the aggression right now of Evo Divine, especially when we saw them earlier against Team Flash, they were supposed to be taken out already if it wasn't one player being or saving a team on that revive, but they're still hanging into shrines right now. Might be able to spot out Shadow Esports, and if this continues, they can get as much elimination before the final circle.
He was with the 5-pointer, and Shrine seems to be absolutely quiet here, so they can make this their fort for the time being. There's a vending machine to camp at as well, and we all know EVOS very strategic with their rotations usually. Just this season here at Spring, and not really looking like the most dangerous squad. Rasia is probably taking advantage of the fact that he has 16 medkits, so spending some time outside the circle. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of medkits, but I don't know. If you don't jump into engagement, that would be stuck in there instead of a few more slots available for whatever utilities. But WAG right now, just rolling, and we've seen them earlier in a view of a different team, but they're just hanging around, trying to find any stragglers and edge of the circle. But we do agree, with the current meta, with the current team boosters, you can hang out a circle even if it's the second phase or even the third phase. So that's what they're taking advantage of.
Absolutely, man. And see if Buriram gets a better fight this time around in terms of numbers. WAG rotating towards command post. Flash spotted out. ABCD heard that shot. Zom is there all alone. Tikui, what's up with the Valiant dashes today?
I don't know. It seems like they're still getting a hang of pointing it to the specific direction that they want, or if it might be a few of changes in sensitivity. But either way,
I think they're just taking advantage of the fact that, hey, he has a cool active skill that continuously surprises everyone, and they're just not judging the distance, carelessly using it. I mean, those are the kinds of mistakes that you will pay a big price for in a more heated battle. But thankfully, in that particular situation, they were just chasing after one player. So wasting that Valiant dash did not turn around against them. But imagine doing that in the final circle. Man, you'll pay a big price for that.
Well, it's 45 seconds that they had to wait, so that's really a big prize. 45 seconds means a lot for the cooldown of that Valiant dash, and we know for a fact final moments, that's where most of the elimination happened. But let's see though, we're now on 10.5-minute mark. 10 seconds to go before the next phase shrinks in. Here comes an aid coming from Evo Divine, but one introductory aim god trying to put pressure up close against Shadow Esports. Not quite sure if this is smart, because he might be taken down quite easily.
Absolutely, man. Aim god. Trying to get away, and this is the unfortunate situation that you have when so many squads have gathered in one tiny compound. Heavy with a shot from afar. Does manage to get the knockdown onto the EVOS player. Coach Ela and Ray, they have to now slow their pace down as Rasia drops back with that instant revival. He barely got to the vending machine before he brought him got back.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many of those. I think they've set their HUD already. We're in. That revive is readily available.
Oh, yeah.
That's on a perfect spot that I can click that easily. But speaking of perfect spot, even Divine is in the perfect spot right now, but Shadow Esports is within the vicinity, and with the only or one of the few compounds with this circle that they might be meeting a few of those teams who want to take over, and Onyx Olympus is one of those.
Let's see if EVOS manages to get a better spot here up against the other squads, because they've already teased Shadow Esports, so a little bit of revenge play could be coming through in a bit. If they choose to engage with Onyx, Shadow will try to take advantage and take the squad right out of the equation, because obviously that's a big threat. Shadow does have the electrotherapy activated on their side, so Shinzi is going to be a tad bit more dangerous. I think he's got the cord in hand. But it seems like it's a stalemate all around. Nobody wants to get aggressive just yet. And we've got 40 seconds to go. What a binocular scan. 8 players being scanned out. Question is, who brought it out?
Yeah, it's probably one of these 3 teams in there, because I think I saw 8 players and we have 12 players in there. But it's a smart move, or probably a nerve-wracking move as well, because if you find out that there's 8 players within you, I don't think you would be moving that much or showing up that much.
Onyx, Ituan. Beautiful AWM straight to the head. Crime taken out of the equation already, and now Onyx needs to find that vending machine. They're not too far away from it, but that's being camped upon by the players on the side of Flash and Put It Up. Getting towards it is going to be a little bit of a tough fight here for Onyx, who now take that lower floor. Heavy right above them. The electrotherapy connected between Zyro and Adam. And it looks like they're not going to take a risky play towards that higher floor. They must want that vending machine desperately now. WAG, on the other hand, already in the next zone. Play a safety play here, but they have to be careful. Argon right behind them, and a very risky rotation. But this one pays off. Now they've got a little bit of a high ground advantage as well.
Yeah, better position compared to Team Flash and Buildup United, because they're out and open, who might be able to target Argon MY. Evo Zavino jumping into the middle, into the party, but I don't know where they're going to place themselves in there. Otherwise, if they don't have all those utilities or nades to throw through the window, then they might be at a loss later on once everyone moves in. A little bit of Glue Wall Melter thrown from Onyx Olympus towards Evo Divine. But Adam, a little bit too close though. I don't know if that's a glue wall or just a literal wall, but they're listening onto the sound cue, trying to take a peek on how they can push them in.
Gochil has got the trip mine here. They're just waiting for Onyx to make a mistake. This is a tense situation for sure within this compound. Rasia! The M82B on the knockdown. As EVOS now moves slightly towards the right. Lightning zone called upon. Definitely not by Buriram. They're just sticking. I mean, it's insane how Buriram's not getting these big points off of these games.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they do have a few openings already, but we also saw WAG taking those spots just above them. So they don't want to peek so much on the windows. Otherwise, they might be targeted by a lot of teams. WAG right now on the rooftop, Overwatch on everyone else, but in a few seconds, they would need to move because they might be damaged by the zone, but they are taking advantage of that moment against Argon MY.
Man, Argon, just the unluckiest ones there. Everybody's shooting at them at the same time. 3 separate squads taking shots at them, and 3 players from the side of Argon eliminated from the equation already. How do they sneak back in here? Almost virtually impossible. WAG, high ground advantage. With the movement, Flash has got those open shots. PLS1, a beautiful glue ball on the landing. WAG still safe.
Well, let's see now. Buildup United is in trouble, especially if Jonah is putting himself out with M79. This is a press opportunity to have that grenade launcher when everyone's stuck in together. But on the other side, Zavitex KDC will be taken down. Now, as we look into WAG putting pressure on Shadow Esports into the shadows, I think they will be brought into the light. But everyone is in a prone, trying to save themselves. But here comes a nade being cooked by Wang M, and it goes in with a double. And this is a finisher that might be ended by WAG.
What a play by Wang Am.
Beautifully completed with a flurry of grenades. Initially, with the ice grenade, he manages to tag all of them with the Moko, gets the confirmation. 4 players were behind, and then it was a no-brainer. Those frags came straight on through, and he for a brute fight for WAG, and this is positioning supremacy in such a circle. The high ground giving them a massive advantage.
And this situation is needed by the team, especially if you have Overwatch against your opponent. But we're now left with 6 teams, or still 6 teams, and from what we've witnessed, WAG is taking as much as possible out of those fights. But if they will need or forced to move right now, which team do they need to be careful of?
WAG locked by the thrill of battle on top of everything else, so they'll have to be careful here with the reposition. The circle's not on their side.
And look at this, Heavy, the first ones to move. WAG actually wanted that spot, and now WAG is going to be pressured by the blue. They can't take the position that Heavy's on already. They choose the lower floor on the same building, and rotating from the ground floor. A brilliant rotation by WAG. They still stay alive, and they bump into Onyx, taking Zairu out of the equation, forcing the rest of the Onyx players out. WAG still in a great spot.
Great position, great timing from the WAG right there. And also the pressure coming from Evo Zivine on the other side. Thus, Onyx Olympus was thrown off guard, but Evo Zivine has been eliminated out of the God Nade coming from Alan, and they took over that spot, even taking down Adam as well from Onyx Olympus. Now we're down to 4 teams, and Heavy with heavy damage, 16 elimination, and I think it's about 10k on the total damage as well.
Damn, bro. It's safe to say Vietnam really wants this, huh? 2 games in a row to have 3 Vietnamese squads alive and kicking. Earlier it was PE Esports. Now Heavy have substituted in here for them. And it is just brilliant to see the effort out of these squads. WAG and Flash definitely lighting the battlefield up. But Buriram still alive and kicking. Looking for the Booyah up against the 3 Vietnamese teams. Great glue wall to block up the damage from that frag grenade. Mufasa, don't cry. Rotating in WAG. Just backing away from the damage off of the blue. Finally spots Buriram and starts engaging. Flash staying out of the battle for the time being, but still keeping an eye on Heavy. The circle's getting tighter, Neptune.
I do agree. And Team Flash is trying to do the same thing as they did earlier. Wait for the perfect opportunity, but with the pressure coming from Buriram United, they would need to do something. But BRU put themselves closer to WAG. That might be elimination bound to happen, but they sneak themselves into the middle. WAG might be stuck in there, but the flurry of glue walls might be the trouble factor that would be happening once that zone shrinks.
Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses of Buriram, all exposed. Great glue wall and an instant reposition by Buriram, but they did sustain a little bit of damage. Flash not taking advantage of that situation. A little bit too slow on the rotation and pressure, and now Buriram right in front of them. Heavy rotating around, but Flash, look at the barricade of glue walls to keep Heavy behind. WAG takes advantage, bumping into Buriram, annihilating the full squad. Heavy bumping into Flash, Gordon Zom down on the ground, but the barricade of glue walls gets their boys right back up on their feet, and we are left with 3 Vietnamese squads.
Perfect timing on Heavy's Steffi right there, and that gives them more of the advantage, and they're taking advantage of it. Moving outside the zone, though, might be their downfall. ABCD with a sliver of health on a 1v2. Team Flash still managed to pull it off.
A back-to-back booyah for Flash, and that's what I'm talking about. That Riptide Rhythm. 2 times in a row. First pressuring Buriram, pushing them towards WAG, allowing WAG to annihilate the boys of Buriram. And the final Riptide Rhythm was just an active skill, pure perfection, pure genius. They built a maze of glue walls. The great wall of Flash was built, and they brought it down with a double Riptide Rhythm with the valiant dash that Heavy brought out towards the very final end of the battle sequence. Just did not serve them well, because he went right outside the circle, sustained some damage, and Flash was in the right place, right time, right decisions made. And damn, what a run by Flash so far.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, the same tactics from the final circle, just different opponents overall, more opponents overall, but I'm still loving the result. But again, 3 teams coming from Vietnam, final circle. I do agree, Vietnam is mad right now, angry, and they want to take that spot early.
Man, I am worried. I am nervous. I hope this is not a first day kind of super performance and then, they dip in the rest of the days. But if they can keep this up, because, when we saw the group stage and Flash just came in, they were explosive and we were so excited. We were like, okay, new coach, new Flash, let's go. And then zoop, they went down, right? But now this is just totally different. I'm thinking of the active skill composition. I'm thinking of the timing of the skills used by Team Flash, the way they're playing their long-range battles. Everything has been looking perfect so far for Flash.
I do agree. The A124 that we often see out of teams, especially in final moments, I thought that would be the saving grace of Heavy when they they pull off that Steffi. But A124 in that final moment, plus so they increase their odds of winning, plus they increase the numbers as well because of the Valiant Dash that has been used, and that forces everyone from the rest of the squad to just step out of the zone. That's two players in here. One managed to step in into the middle just to keep themselves safe and make sure that they get that booyah. But that was just quick decision being done great by Flash.
But I have to say, man, the biggest blooper reels of the day have been farmed off of Oscar. The Valiant Dashes have just been failing non-stop today. Many of the players have just not been able to get it on point. And I think, that's what makes the Oscar's Valiant Dash a double-edged sword, especially when the circle is so tiny. You burst through glue walls, good job, but now you're outside of the circle. What can you do? Absolutely nothing, right? Just get shot in the back and not stand a chance. I mean, a great decision coming through from the Heavy player to play that Valiant Dash, but I think that was just a play of panic, mainly because the double Riptide Rhythm hit towards the final sequence of the battle, and he knew that he was going to be in trouble, totally exposed. But that just not the right move in that particular situation because of how small that circle was. But in the overall grand scheme of things, we talk about consistency all the time. To go back-to-back booyah off of Nexterra and Kalahari, a big play from Flash as we open things up. A big play from Secret WAG, from Heavy. Vietnam has been on fire so far, Neptune.
I do agree. Won't be surprised if the three teams that we witnessed will be topping the board right there after two games. Though we've seen Burim United, but they're not showing their usual approach in aggression, getting all those elimination. And even if they're going for that final circle, survivabilities that speak for these teams, Burim United is not just what we expect them to be. And hopefully that's not the case all throughout this week.
Nah, I think Buriram's just irritating everyone. Okay, they are not shooting. They are not engaging. Jonah's not whipping out those grenades. Moshi was rolling around grenades on the battlefield. Very unusual play from Buriram. Moshi's not going crazy with the snipes, not taking the high ground, that's not Buriram, man. They're just fooling around because they know all they need is the top 6. But dude, you play with fire, you are going to get burned, because in Southeast Asia, we have got some motivated squads out there. We have got 4 teams from Vietnam, and 3 out of the 4 have locked in terms of performance so far. So you are going to run out of opportunities if you wait for the final moment to start bringing in these big points. But I've got faith. I mean, Buriram, bro. They'll be able to farm the lobby if they want to farm the lobby. So not very concerned about them. Who I am concerned about is EVOS Divine. Now, they are not a team that can guarantee big points. So you need consistent game after game after game. Worst case scenario is they don't get a big share of the prize pool, but it's not really a big problem because they've already got a slot at the Esports World Cup. But dude, who passes up on $100,000 US?
I don't know. I don't know what ideation is for EVOS Divine right now. The same question has been happening the first time we saw them in Phase 1 up until this moment. But we know that there's some booyah potential out of the team. And again, from the introduction earlier, when they hit the high note, it's a very high. Same goes with Burim United, though it's just Burim United has been consistent over, well, not really consistent, but somewhat more consistent than EVOS Divine if in comparison. So there's still a lot of questions out there for EVOS Divine, but you didn't really point out the obvious that they have a spot already on EWC.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I don't know, because yes, you do have a spot there, But are you ready to conquer EWC as the back-to-back champions, right? But that's going to be a very big question mark for EVOS Divine here, because you definitely need to ramp up. You definitely need to play on the meta. You need to see how well you do against one of the best, most lethal lobbies possible out there before you bump into the Western squads, right? Because that's a whole different ball game out there, and I don't see EVOS practicing anything as of right now. They're rotating, they're taking some battles very lightly, and I feel like they're going to be paying a very big price if they don't start ramping up soon enough.
El Acido, for this game's MVP, it's the God taking over the Zom. I guess the V on the name is working for the team. 5 elimination, 1631 in damage, VSK in hand. And not only that, he has brought in that Riptide rhythm that has been troubling a lot, especially in that final moment. But when we look at the top 5 eliminator, we still have Heavy CH1 with 7, Nan7 with 7. Even like from all the 3 teams that we've seen in the final moments, we have representative from all.
I don't know how are you seeing names, because all I could see in the top 5 eliminations was Vietnam, 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 right? You gotta love this, man. I absolutely love the fact that Vietnam's on fire right now. You've got the Cassie, Oscar, Skylar, Zane combo of a Flash this time around. You see how they've switched it up, Neptune? Yeah. They knew this time around that they wanted to play a very much more aggressive game. Surprisingly enough, you don't have as many eliminations off of the squad. You've got the Skylar and the Shani on the Skylar, and so very clearly the God wanted to play very close to the rest of his team members on that gear recycle as well. And very well played Riptide rhythms, I'll have to say. The timing of the active skills are probably key to getting these booyahs, and I think that he was the biggest difference maker in terms of participation of active skill this time around off of Flash. Great numbers the teams managed to gather, even though not as dominant, 18 eliminations strong as that first game. This is still a very decent spot. 12 eliminations, 12 on the placement points as well. Gives them a solid 24.
Yeah, well, that is a total of 54 points after 2 games coming from Flash. And it's a good thing you pointed out about the skills. There's one of the few that I think this is map specific. The skills that they're bringing in is map specific. They know the plan even before it has begun, and they're changing it up. So I won't be surprised if there will be a few changes as we move forward all throughout the games. But game standings, it's WAG taking that #1 spot because they lead more on elimination, other than comparing them to the Booyah Takers Team Flash.
I like that. I love that. This is Secret WAG taking their fate into their own hands. We talked about how we definitely want to see them at the grand finals. This is home ground buff, home ground advantage. And they've already messed it up twice. They don't want to do it again. And it's not just them. Flash is absolutely motivated. Heavy is absolutely motivated. They are fired up, and they're showing it to us on the overall standings as well. A great game. Every single Vietnamese squad here, except from PE Esports, who just took a very early exit, have scored more than 25 points. And this is what we want to see out of Vietnam. And I spoke a little bit about EVOS. This is definitely a better match out of them. And they've managed to climb the leaderboard just a tad bit more, 15 points. But of course, we want more out of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, EVOS Divine did move up 4 because of how close, or 4 spots because of how close it is at the bottom. But the same story goes with Heavy because of the numbers that they brought into this game. So I'm really loving. It's more of, if PE Esports joined them, then that would be a whole Vietnamese party. But unfortunately for them, they have been pushed down by 4 points and 4 spots, and they need to hustle even more. But it's still close between them, and one good game might bring them to the top.
Absolutely, man. I mean, this is just perfection, if you ask me, looking at today's standings and the respect that I've got for Vietnam in terms of their growth over so many seasons, over the past few years. I have no idea what to say. This is effort, this is hustle, and this is the results of all of that effort and hustle, right? And they are clearly proving that it's not just 1 or 2 days worth of effort to get up to the top, to really improve and be one of the dangerous regions out there. And they're playing in one of the most lethal lobbies, right? Southeast Asia has got the Titans for sure. To match up against them, to dominate them in these lobbies, I mean, hats off to the Vietnamese squads. But PE Esports, again, after a long time, lagging behind Neptune.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, they're the ones who usually motivate the team. And again, if we go back to the storyline of EWC, they're the ones to step in that global scene. But I think there's a huge slowdown right now. But again, there's still that energy. Probably a disappointment right now because they're not part of that top 4 out of Vietnam. But I think there's still some energy and motivation that they can reel in out of where they are placed right now, or where they're positioned, and where and the area that they're playing. So easy enough, they can catch up, but they need to do it fast because they're already down 2 games out of the 18, and it's not slowing down.
It's not slowing down at all, and I think this is one of the better days out of Flash. They've had 2 phenomenal days so far in the group stage as well as the qualifier days, where we saw them hit 92 points on their second day of play, and that was one of the biggest runs that Flash has had so far in the competition. Can they outdo their previous performances within the competition itself, or can they keep up the pressure just like what they did in those days of plays? Because we did see on those days of domination, the maximum number of booyahs Flash has gotten on a very good day is 2 booyahs, and they've literally started the day with a back-to-back booyah. I mean, if they continue on this run, this could be the best of the lot for them.
Well, let's see now as we head into our game number 3. This is an OG map, the green grass of Free Fire, and let's see if today's forecast would be different, because from what we've seen, clear skies is above the plane path, but there's heavy pressure forming across every major drop zone as our flight path is coming in from the north to the south, and a lot of teams already released their parachute moving into the direction of their drop spot.
Evo's Divine at Katulistiwa. Flash at Shipyard. That basically means they're going to have a great loot off of Shipyard, probably towards Bullseye as well. As I say that, they actually go in for a split drop onto Bullseye. Great play. And this is what I respect about teams like Team Flash. They're always keeping an eye out around them as they take that initial drop, looking at the skies, seeing if or not they're going to have heavy competition around, and the instant adjustment towards their flight path to make sure they get a lot of loot. Aurora up against Avida XKDC though. A very strong Avida XKDC, just not looking as solid this time around. The mini Uzi battle won hands down by Aurora.
No loots, no weapons to loot right now, and they're on their way onto that island far away from the mainland of this map. Now, I'm really looking forward to who would be bringing the rest of the squad in, but again, Aurora Gaming with the elimination that early, I would say it's aggression that they have been aiming for from the beginning of this day, but they need to be consistent. For Heavy though, Kotatua, I think they're one of the few that might have chased the team of Aurora Gaming, but they didn't bother. They want to loot up first. They want to prepare for what's coming in a few seconds, because once they meet up with a team that has been looted up, then that's where the party begins.
Yeah, I think Vida definitely needs a pep talk, Neptune, because they are, I mean, they are butt kickers. I wish I could say the other word, but they are butt kickers out there. It's a very capable squad in terms of mechanical skills. They are definitely coming through a region which is very good in terms of composition. They understand the meta of the game really well.
Yeah.
But clearly, just something's going on in the background. Either they're demotivated, they're not so sure exactly what they want to do out there, because we've seen them dominating the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. We saw a great performance from them the moment we started off spring. This is their very first introduction into the Southeast Asia circuit, and I think just a little bit of nervous place. Their initial confidence has dwindled down quite a little bit, and I hope to see that rise back up through qualifying for the Grand Finals, because I mean, if we don't see them make it through, I think it's going to be a very heavy blow to their confidence.
I do agree. I mean, there's a lot of teams, or a few teams, I would say, that are not used to losing out in the fight, because coming from a double championship from Free Fire Max Asia Invitational, it seems like they might be one of the teams that would be the dark horses in this game. They look like it from the beginning, but I do agree with that dwindling of performance. Inconsistency coming from VDEX KDs, not just coming off because they are not because they're not bringing the numbers, it's just they're not winning all those fights, and aggression without tactics is just something like your chance being thrown out the window.
Vida on the recovery, not the right team to engage with, but they still get the knock though. I mean, again, Axel with the cord, what are you even thinking on the front lines? The first thing Axel should have done is just run away, because that's just not the preferred gun that he has to be running around with. And he pays a very big price, but of course, with the confidence that the rest of his team members were just right behind them. Argon up against WAG. Faiz out in the open, all alone. This is free points for WAG unless Faiz pulls off a phenomenal VSK play. But they're going to surround him. And the Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defense. PLS1 gets an easy shot off of that.
Oh, well, let's see, though, if they can get a few more onto the horse. Alan rides in the sunset, but as we head to Heavy, it's one more player from PE Sports that they can take advantage. Heavy right now, compared to, not one player. It's a good thing you managed to peek in. That's 3 players in the tower. I have to squint a little. 4 players in the tower. So, PE Sports, well, they can take advantage of this. Look for Heavy or anyone else, and they can get a few more points.
Esports looking for the recovery, but I think Heavy might be looking for 3 points off of them. Shadow Esports up against EVOS. Both teams have been not on their best run, especially Shadow Esports. Twice now they've been caught in early engagements and wiped out. Oh, beautiful Valiant Dash this time around. You gotta love that. One of the better ones that we've seen all day long.
Yeah, it's more of the timing, making sure you measure the distance, and also do it perfectly. But let's see, though. I mean, it doesn't last that long. This engagement is just dragging. And even Divine is one of the teams who has dragged a lot of fights overall. We are not seeing that aggression coming from the team. So we want to see that. We want to see that fire. But again, there's still a lot of things that we keep questioning out of this team. And they might just be not giving everything right now.
Absolutely, man. And Magna is camping at Mars at this point of time, just trying to avoid a lot of these engagements and just focus on the looting phase, but WAG is not letting them do that. PLS1, great shot with the AWM, and to find that connection. Here comes Non7 with the FGL, pushing on in with the Mag 7. One of the better shotguns for the play, and this kind of pressure, I don't think Magna's going to get away from it. And WAG just camping at the vending machine as well as they annihilate the Magna players. A smart decision by the squad. Heavy in a battle up against Aurora. And Azrael with the UMP finds an easy SMG takedown. But of course, those revivals going to come right through as well as the Heavy players were camping on a vending machine earlier on. By the way, I'm looking at the chat. There's nothing wrong with camping, man. It's just strategy. I mean, in this lobby, if you think you can survive just by running around out there without holding your ground and playing your timing right, yeah, okay, you're probably not even going to get to this level. That's just not going to work.
Yeah, this ain't like your ranked games. Though you can learn a few out of these games for your ranked games, but you can not do the other way around. So you need to worry about where your position, your opponents are positioned as well. And we've seen a lot of third parties where in aggression are failing into the battle. Even Buddhism United knows that, so better think twice before you throw that in chat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what a Riptide Rhythm follow-up there. Sana with the SVD getting the knockdown. Oh, but they used up both already, so they don't get to take advantage of the recovery play of the Bionic players here. They do have the mini launcher. Can they quickly reposition? Moshi with the AWM. Buriram's just playing this one easy. They do cut down the distance between themselves as well as the Ionic players. This is Buriram for the first time in the day, trying to get aggressive. But a super slow, aggressive push, though.
Yeah, I mean, they've already triggered an A124 Thrill of Battle, and they could have been taking advantage of that situation and ready to go for that push, but this is what we're talking about. Jonah for that elimination, and one managed to move away, boosted out, and Putra might be able to survive. But let's see, he does! Uses that reach as cover, but will that noise, it might reel in Team Flash's real who is nearby.
Oh, I mean, you gotta love the boost, bro. The Garena employees just sat down in a room thinking, how can we help them survive? Okay, maybe if we threw a boost on these vehicles. And that has been serving up players within the esports circuit quite well, because those escapes, those final second escapes with the boost have led to so many revivals so far. Uncountable. Just another reason, just another way to find a little bit of extra viability on the battlefield. Heavy up against Onyx. Putra. Still managed to get away.
Bro, I mean, we should name him Vin Diesel at some point, because he went against two teams already just on that same vehicle, and he still managed to get away. But let's see though, Onyx Olympus still has a chance of being revived, but where will he be heading? He tried to get into Sentosa. Vending machine is... Well, it is available, but does he have enough coins? That is the question. WAG, though, again, still using vehicle as well. And again, it's been a while since we featured the vehicles. We don't see much of those elimination out of the vehicles just yet. But I think with this boost, we might see them real soon. But Heavy, right there. I think they're about to be eliminated, but still have 2 players remaining.
My goodness. This is not the way you want your run to be. If you're from the side of Avida XKDC, Heavy as well. 2 players lost already, looking for the recovery. EVOS, on the other hand, is not going to find Avida just yet. As they rotate into Kota Tua, Dinoculus used, finds nobody. It's going to be a looting progress here for EVOS as they look for a little bit of recovery overall on the leaderboard. First game just wasn't very friendly with them.
Yeah, let's see. I knows it right now. With that trip mine, wasn't able to go in for a takedown, and with a couple of players heading into him, he has been taken down. Revive has been done onto Heavy, and now they're in play, but they're still far away in the next phase of the circle. They need to move fast, loot fast as well, and they're using that vehicle as well. Vida, trouble area once again, and we're missing the aggressive Avida, but let's head into Aurora bringing an aggression against WAG.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora has just become so much more put together in the recent times, and it's very clear that the players are locked in now. In terms of performance, this has been one of the better runs for Aurora, but still looking for access into the grand finals is going to be difficult if they cannot recover their placement points. 2 games in a row, they've just not gotten very far into the game, but they have been putting up points on the leaderboard through those eliminations, which is very good to see.
Yeah,
Heavy versus WAG could just be the opportunity for Aurora to survive a little bit longer, or maybe even farm some points off of them.
Well, let's see though. I mean, they need to take down WAG, and that reduces the chance of another Vietnamese team ending in the final circle, and Aurora can take advantage of that. But given the opportunity to grab this vending machine to revive her teammates, well, it's more numbers, but it's also a double-edged sword, especially if you're looking at Aurora trying to win this fight.
We are getting into the time of the day where I once again say this is pandemonium about to break out. How in the hell do we have 12 squads alive and kicking? Neptune, this is too many. Maybe Magna will do us a favor by exiting this lobby so that we can have lesser of a headache. PE Esports has been up here since we started the game.
So that's 10 minutes already. If it wasn't for the zone, they wouldn't be moving out. I don't know what the plan is right now, but this is not a way to get up in the top 4 together with the rest of the squad.
the ideology there was, if maybe we get the highest ground, we can also get up to the highest part of the leaderboard. I don't know how the math is mathing in their heads, but it's interesting. Moshi taking that one out with the trip mine. Avida, again, just not having a great run. Heavy focusing on them, and Avida out in 12.
Well, at least we have one team being taken out. Won't be ending it with 12 full squad. But another team, it's Magna Esports Club, and another one might be biting the dust right now if the engagement does unfold between Team Flash and Shadow Esports.
This is about to turn into 9 squads now. Flash finally going in for the attack. Shadow Esports in a little bit of trouble. The God right up on top. He has to get off the roof though, because the other teams can easily shoot him right off there. Flash actually backing away. Not wanting to mess around so much because they do have a great spot in the next zone. So Flash doesn't really have to get aggressive just yet. Have to make sure they focus on keeping themselves safe. Maybe opening up a little bit of a leeway here through those glue walls to spot the Argon players right across.
Yeah, I guess the situation is they are already holding this area. They try to chase against Shadow Esports, but since they're taking time to get an elimination, they just double back, look for Argon once again, and this is a chance for them to really take them down because the blue will be forcing them. And 14-minute mark already, fourth phase heading into the next one would be deadly when it comes to that blue zone.
Absolutely, man. Videx KDC was capable of dominating the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. Looking at the fact that even Expand is currently dominating there, I don't know if or not that is the right track record to go off of deciding how well they can do in the Southeast Asian lobby, because this lobby is savage. Not the easiest one, of course. They'll have to just wait for the rest of the 3 games remaining. Argon sneaking in, surviving for the time being. Flash could not punish them because of those glue walls. And they didn't really want to waste Riptide Rhythm this time around. EVOS might not get as lucky though, because they are much more open in terms of position. And everybody trying to shoot them down at the same time. Onyx Olympus out, and we didn't even get to watch that happen. Here comes the Narrow. Cryo Mine tossed on out. 2 players going to get tagged up here by the Cryo Mine. PE Sports taken out as well. June takes himself out with a grenade out of nowhere.
Well, let's see though. 8 teams remaining right now, and pressure on Argon still is there. Tagging 3 of the players, 1 mark with that Enigma. But here comes the potential backstab coming from Team Flash. I'm looking at players of Team Flash right now. I don't think they do have that Riptide Rhythm, but they do have the Valiant Dash, and they push it through instantly. And that's what I'm talking about, the speed of elimination.
Yeah, that was damn good push by Team Flash, but too low on the HP. Circle pressuring them. Shadow Esports got the tags onto them with the ice grenade, and the finisher by EVOS as well. A brilliant play by EVOS after being pressured initially by so many squads.
Oh, let's see. We're seeing Aurora right now suck between WAG and Bremen United. What they can do is put pressure on one, force them to battle the other, and then back away in the perfect timing. But no, they want to dip in from all sides, and they're still getting eliminations. Battle of Indonesia is unfolding on this edge of the circle. Even Zivai needs those points to eliminate Shadow Esports, but Aurora slowly folding down, and Azrael might be the death, or might be meeting the death right now, unless WAG would be taken down.
I don't know if I actually saw that wrong, but I think Aurora already had 17 eliminations. That's insane off of a Malaysian squad. When we're trying to look at some of the big teams in performance here not perform, Aurora has been outstanding so far in their run. I have to say, props to the Malaysian squad for sure. This is the comeback for some of these players who have been in the circuit for a long, long time. Now WAG looking for the shots onto Shadow Esports. EVOS has been performing so much better as opposed to the first 2 games they were playing. And finally, we have a little bit of viability from the Indonesian squads. But once again, mad respect to Vietnam's WAG and Heavy. The push comes on through. Shadow Esports capping EVOS?
Yeah, Shadow Esports taking advantage of that situation. Again, using that painted refuge to survive even the zone and damage coming from Evo Zivine. Only 1 remain. It is Kochil. The same story goes with WAG, with Jade Kui on the run, and Heavy with a couple of players surviving. So Shadow Esports, a good chance to grab that booyah. Just isolate every player from the other teams, and they can take them down.
Man, oh man, what in the world are we watching? Shadow Esports now the strongest squad out there in terms of manpower. But 4 survivors. There's just no way Heavy or WAG takes this booyah. Here comes Rin, takes out WAG. And Heavy with the 1 final survivor. Cannot withstand the pressure out of the Indonesians. And finally, the booyah goes towards Indonesia, and Shadow Esports, who have been pummeled and beaten down in the first 2 games, have risen to the top this time around.
Yeah, really loving the storyline right now. A lot of teams taking that booyah spot, booyah record already. And those expected, especially the top dogs, haven't even gotten close. But in terms of numbers, I think they've brought in a few comparing to the other matches. Final shot of this game, witnessing even that Scorpion surprised me a little bit. I guess that's what Shadow Esports has to offer. From the shadows into the light, they bring that booyah in.
I mean, a great play from Shadow Esports, but I think a little bit of the element of luck was mixed into this booyah that they got here for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering how well Aurora could have done in this matchup if they had a better position out there on the battlefield, right? Because I feel like rotation-wise, Aurora's not the best squad. I think this is something that I mentioned at the start of the game, where their placement points was just ridiculously low. They were surviving with the eliminations, and again, they did manage to get a little bit further, but very heavy on the eliminations, Neptune. I can't wait to see the leaderboard for this matchup, but their positioning on the open just didn't serve them well again.
Yeah, it's more of how quick they can get through all those openings and then get into a compound, or if not, the speed that they have to eliminate anyone occupying it. We've seen that from Rhythm United. We've seen that from Flash just from that game. And that's what they're lacking. They have the firepower from a long to mid-range, but CQC, that coordination is still not there.
Yeah, and I think just a couple of mistakes coming through from the players. We have seen Axel trying to roam around with the cord. Play your role for sure. That's something that you definitely want to do. And I think that's something that they can take away from teams like WAG and Flash so far, because these two Vietnamese squads have been very much super focused on getting the right loots first in the game before starting to engage with the other squads. I think they definitely learned heavy lessons in the past where they've tried engaging a little bit too early and they've just been so inconsistent. Focusing on beefing up your battle capability before getting into these heavy fights, pun intended, is keeping teams like Heavy alive a little bit longer out there on the battlefield. But of course, a great recovery from Shadow Esports this time around. Again, after two fairly terrible games, they have managed to jump right back up here, because before this game, they only had 4 placement points in totality. Okay, so this is a big jump for the squad.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I think 3 or 4 spot has been taken already by the team, and they might be in there in the middle. Aurora Gaming definitely would be moving up. I do agree. I think the last time we saw it, it's 17 or probably even more on elimination. And with the rotation they're making, again, there was one moment where Aurora Gaming was stuck between WAG and Rhythm United, and what they could have done is back away a little bit, not move forward with the zone, and that would force these 2 top dogs to battle, and they can take advantage of that. Or they might have pulled a few off out of that game, but it's the delay of moving into the next spot that is a problem.
Yeah. And, you know, we talk about consistency, and WAG has been exactly that. Heavy has been exactly that. Vietnam today, except the esports, has been exactly that. Very consistent, finding that circle. And it's very difficult, actually, if you take a look at it. You know, teams finding that final circle, towards the final circle, you see so many of them still alive and kicking. But to be alive in such a heavy pressure situation, it's been very impressive. I think this is the best version of Vietnam that we have gotten in a long, long time. But is this the best version of Buriram that we have gotten in a long, long time? I think that needs to be talked about, because what's up with Buriram, man? You know, many a time situations have seen them just work their way out. Even if they have a bad position, their aggression, their mechanical skills have gotten through many lobbies with a lot of points. But they are just not on point this time round.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time we've seen them, I guess they're averaging 12 points, 13, if not 15. Because even the delay movement, so they slow down in the beginning, get elimination towards the end, and they're always aim for the booyah. But right now, I still don't know what the plan is. Seems like they're trying to move with the rest of the squad, but not that aggressively. And how slow it was from one moment wherein, which team was it? Was it Onyx Olympus or PE Sports that they took out? It's very, very slow. We didn't expect that kind of movement coming from BRU.
And Rin was just the star player this time round. I think Shadow Esports played it very smartly. They were also a good reason why Flash got eliminated early by EVOS, because of very well-timed ice grenades just to chip away at their health when they were being pressured by the circle, looking for the zone. And Rin walking away as the MVP with 5 eliminations, 1,124 on the damage with the Mac 10.
Well, most elimination probably came from him being revived, but it's tough. But now Aurora Gaming in there is Azrael with elimination plus Zuez with 5. That's a huge number already. But Rasia with like not even one more from Evo Zemine. I think it's just slow down once again from Evo Zemine. But we'd love to see what teams like this team of Shadow Esports has brought in. Alok has been brought in. A questionable move, but if it's working, then we'll be taking it.
Well, he definitely didn't drop the ball. He dropped the beat. Beautifully played by Rin. And he also had the Rocky because clearly the Shadow Esports has been working on their gameplay. He also has the Olivia to boost up whatever Alok can do in the battlefield. They've got a double Tiva. This is Shadow Esports being humble. They understand this lobby can annihilate them. This lobby can crush them. They wanted to focus on those survivability aspects, and they did exactly that. Look at the survivability aspects. They've got the Alok, they've got the Tiva, they've got the Steffi to avoid those grenades, they've got the Cassie with the electrotherapy. This is a very defense-heavy loadout this time round of the active and passive skills, and I think they have finally found what works for them. This is one of their best games so far, so we got to respect that.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, if you have this kind of build, and despite of how aggressive other teams are, you will still manage to survive. And we witnessed that earlier. Final battle between them and Evo's Divine. They're hanging outside the blue, but all the full squad still managed to get in, and they are ready to beat down on the other teams waiting in the next phase of the circle. But once again, surprise, surprise, Aurora Gaming taking top. Does 17 elimination out out there in that game, 6th placement point, but still in the lead of that lobby.
Wow is all I can say. Aurora has really turned their fate around by showing up consistently this time round in the competition. I feel like they should have definitely been one of the early teams finding the qualifier into the grand finals. But granted, this is Southeast Asia. The battle is super, aggressive all the time. It's very difficult to get the top 2 spots, but they are in a good run so far to be in the top 6. I wish them good luck because this is the best form that these players have been on for a long, long time. And massive numbers of eliminations like we highlighted earlier that has pushed Aurora now up to the 4th spot. Shadow Esports, just with that one recovery play, have now jumped into the top 6, doing better than EVOS, doing better than PE Sports, better than Avida. Crazy.
Close to Buram United. That's another statement that Shadow Esports is bringing right now. Now, Buram United is not showing that much, but again, being pushed by Aurora Gaming, a lot of dark horses right now, just showing up, wrecking this lobby. But that's just the first half. There's still 3 more matches out of this game, and if they want to plan out something from what we witnessed in RRQ or probably Twisted Mind, just clutching it towards the second half, then this is a time for them to prepare.
Oh, absolutely, man. What a day it has been so far for Vietnam. Top 3 teams dominated. Top 3 spots dominated by Vietnam, Flash, WAG, and Heavy. Of course, I would have expected to see a back-to-back-to-back booyah from Flash, but that just hasn't been the track record so far from them. The maximum number of booyahs Flash has ever delivered on a good day is 2 booyahs. Yep. And I hope they have not maxed it out just yet. I was hoping for this to be one of their better days because Neptune, the most number of points Flash has ever picked up was 92 points within a day. They are already breaching 60 points right now through 3 games. So the possibility of this being the best day ever for Flash in the spring run so far is definitely there. We're going to take a quick short break, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You guys don't go anywhere because the battle is not over. We'll be back with the remaining 3 matches.
The news broadcast. Well, we did such a great job today since Team Flash already got for themselves 2 booyahs in a day. Welcome the Zom from Team Flash. Could you say hello to the audience, please? Xin chào các bạn khán giả và vâng, thực sự một ngày thi đấu có một cái màn mở đầu quá là tuyệt vời đến từ Team Flash. Và ngay bên cạnh mình đây chính là The Zom. Thì lời đầu tiên The Zom có thể gửi lời chào đến các bạn khán giả trước được chứ ạ?
Mình xin chào các bạn khán giả đang xem qua màn hình.
Alright, I'm so excited and happy for this interview. Let's jump into our first questions. So, from the beginning of a day, Team Flash always start a day with the first booyah. So, may I ask for the recipe, please? Flash thì cứ vào ngày là sẽ có ngay một booyah mở màn ngay lập tức luôn á. Thì không biết là có thể cho Yosu và các bạn khán giả biết bí kíp của Team Flash là gì được không ạ?
Thật ra thì cũng không có bí kíp gì hết. Là chuẩn bị vào trận đầu tiên thì mọi người nói chuyện với nhau, động viên nhau, tạo cho nhau cảm giác thoải mái nhất rồi vào bắn thôi ạ.
Actually, there's no recipe here. We are just comfort each other by talking, making communications, and then we soothing each other out, making great atmosphere so everyone can chill and cool down, and then just log in and play the game. That is all very easy, right? All right, second questions. So I can see that the opponents that you guys have to be aware is EVOS Divine, right? Because from the beginning of the game, they always meet each other. But until now, Team Flash has never lose a game with EVOS. So what do you think is the reason that you guys can create that strategy of yours? Thì đối thủ quan ngại nhất ở giai đoạn đầu game của Team Flash có vẻ như chính là EVOS Divine. Nhưng mà tới hiện tại thì Team Flash chưa hề thua bất kỳ một cuộc giao tranh nào với EVOS cả. Thì các bạn nghĩ đâu là lý do để mình có thể tạo nên được cái lợi thế đó ạ?
Mình nghĩ là do sự tự tin của 4 người đang thi đấu. Mỗi cá nhân đều có kỹ năng tốt và tụi mình hay bắt đầu qua một game mới mà game đó gặp EVOS đầu game thì tụi mình luôn set up sẵn, kỹ năng sẵn và chuẩn bị chiến đấu với họ rồi ạ. Bằng sự tự tin của tụi mình.
Wow. Confidence is the key, of course, always. So at first, we keep prepared ourselves, being our best self in the best way. And then when we first jump down, and then if we meet EVOS, we will just separate each other out and then prepare for the tactics, strategy, what would each of us gonna do in the game, and then just be confident and be themselves. So that's how they can, beat their opponents out of their way. It's really interesting, right? From the Zom, I can say this can be your guys' way how to play game in the game as well. So this is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for your listening, and I do really hope that to see more teams can get the booyah because everyone today is playing such an amazing game. Và các bạn khán giả ơi, buổi phỏng vấn đã kết thúc tại đây rồi. Nhưng mà tất nhiên là một lần nữa xin được chúc mừng Team Flash với 2 cú booyah rất tuyệt vời ở game đầu tiên và game thứ hai. Và hy vọng rằng là sắp tới The Flash có thể tiếp tục tạo nên những cú booyah nữa. Và ngày hôm nay Việt Nam chúng ta đang thi đấu rất là tốt. Cho nên là các bạn khán giả ơi, chúng ta hãy tiếp thật nhiều lượt cho các chàng trai Việt Nam ngày hôm nay nhé. Hãy bình luận thật nhiều vào, bởi vì Du Xuân tin chắc chắn rằng là mọi người cũng đang rất muốn lắng nghe những lời khích lệ đến từ các bạn khán giả đó ạ. Cảm ơn mọi người rất là nhiều vì đã theo dõi. Và bây giờ chúng ta hãy cùng quay trở lại với bạn caster thôi nhé.
Actually, I'm already there. Talk to you later! Woo, such a welcoming committee.
Get him now!
Not now, Shiro.
Watch out, Ray. It could be a trap.
Yeah, thought about that too. I'm okay, man. Hold your horse.
Dude, Ray.
It's so good to see you, Hati.
I'm sorry, Ray. But you should know, things are not like in the past. I don't want to hurt you, brother.
Come on. A simple hug would do it.
Things are different now. Give me your device and get away!
This time I'll decide for myself what to do, sis. Oh, I know what's different about you. Let me guess. Horizon?
Shut up! No, nothing!
Do what you want. I don't recognize you as my sister anymore.
Hati, isn't it cool that even though the sun and the moon are rivals, they can still find time to be together?
They aren't rivals, silly. They're just different.
Just like us, right?
Yes, like us, brother.
Hati! Hati!
am down.
I knew she couldn't do it.
Vietnam once started in flames, 3 booyahs, and Gao claimed Team of the Day 1, but that fire quickly began to slow down. Team Flash and WAG are still fighting to keep the hope alive.
Flash can't find the finisher just yet. They try to break through the glue wall. Baros panic, and he does not pick up Nameless, misses the opportunity, and Flash overwhelms AG Global.
While Heavy, P Esports, and even Gao themselves are starting to fall behind. And Malaysia, no longer the free points many expected them to be. They are more resilient, more proactive, more dangerous. And now, they are closing in on top 12, waiting for the perfect moment to break through. Week 2. The battle for the top 12 will be more brutal than ever. We're no longer just playing for points. We're fighting to secure the best possible chance, to claim a ticket to the grand finals.
Welcome back, survivors. This is the final qualifier stretch, and we have limited spots at the grand finals. Too many Titans are fighting to qualify, and Vietnam is doing absolutely well alongside Aurora. The rest of them, though, are still a big question mark. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustache, down here with the one and only Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, your casters for the day. It has been fairly exciting with the consistency that we are seeing out of Vietnam, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's a lot of dark horses in here coming from all the teams of Vietnam has been consistent enough. Team Flash is another who has brought in that flame in this fight. So I'm really, really loving this. That we're in there motivated. Probably it's because the grand finals would be happening on their own region, and they want to show up with full attendance.
And I cannot wait to see the stage, man. I mean, the Vietnam broadcast team is just a thing of the future, right? Remember the last time we saw their LED screens? I was blown away. I wish I could be in Vietnam, but I do like casting from my home as well. So I don't know. I'm torn apart. This is a very exciting competition, mainly because there's just no telling what's going to happen out there. We've got too many good squads. We've got too many teams trying to experiment, and the game is like it has never been before. There are so many viable active skills. Even Arlok is back. And fun fact, the team booster loadout item was used 1,225 times, accounting for 47% of the total loadout item. How insane is that?
So imagine 47% out of team boosters, and then the second half would be coming from tactical market, and a few of those with an enhanced hammer. I'm quite surprised though that not everyone is taking advantage of the enhanced hammer. It does help, especially in the early engagement wherein you might have the same weaponry, but if it's enhanced, you have a better firepower.
I am shocked that nobody's using the super leg pockets. Said nobody. Said absolutely nobody. The super leg pocket. I don't even know what the super leg pocket is doing in the game. I wish that on the next OB update, we get a super massive update for the super leg pockets. I have no idea what in the world they're going to be adding to that, though. It's fairly interesting because the tactical market has been a big game changer. The team boosters, clearly from the percentage of use that we have seen, has been a massive difference maker out there. Teams have not been tanking. Oh, there you go. The leg pocket loadout item was not... was not used throughout the tournament, accounting for... That's exactly what I was talking about, Garena. So maybe the next OB update, we can have the super leg pockets updated in a way where it's going to be viable. Because, dude, there was one point in time where the enhanced hammer was not used at all. Now we are seeing quite a number of weapons enhanced by the hammer. Also because it's quite cheap now. Just 400 coins every time you want to bump it up.
I do agree. I mean, it's probably a little bit late wherein they saw the viability of that fight. And first up, it was initialized in a Clash Squad. Now, Battle Royale, a lot of teams are seeing that advantage already. Imagine just dropping in there. You have a stalemate that's happening. You pretty much don't have that much of firepower or the weapon that you prefer to hit like a truck. But I'm still... I'm still waiting to see that some of the teams right here not only use loadout to their advantage, but also most of the skills, the pet skills, also to their advantage. If I'm mistaken, there's more of an Arven and a Beastin combination compared to adding a Dreke into the mix, wherein it's very crucial on CQCs and if you're trying to find your opponent who's healing up.
Imagine if the super leg pockets come with extra 6 grenades. Every grenadier will be on the super leg pockets. I mean, now that would definitely make the leg pocket super, right? Oh, yeah. Extra 6 grenade for your matches. The Alvaro's already there. The Beastin's already there. And now you're just going to be obliterating everybody on the battlefield. Jonah will be rocking the super leg pockets for sure. I mean, no doubt whatsoever. I'm looking forward to it. And you know you can bet on Garena to do that, man, because I think the game has just been improved to a point where it is just absolutely exciting to see what kind of mix these teams are going to be bringing in to the play. But of course, as we head on into game number 4, Neptune, it's time to head into Solara. Those slide rails are going to be abused for sure. We're going to be seeing many squads zipping around the battlefield. I'm hoping to see much fewer numbers towards that final circle this time around.
Oh yeah, it's been 3 matches already. We're in 10 teams are surviving towards a 4th to 5th place of the circle, and it's becoming tedious for the rest of the team. So, well, let's see now if they are going to bring that fire into Lara right now. Flight path, when we look at it, coming from Aquarium, heading into Waterfall, and I'm pretty sure that there will be less hot drops that would be happening right now, but quick on the movement because of those light rails. TV Tower being occupied by Argon MY, and who's knocking on their door? It's Shadow Esports.
Shadow Esports should not be knocking on any doors. They should be running away if they want to find some consistent plays. But Avida XKDC with a rematch up against Aurora, this is not good because you know how Aurora whoops butt with the mini Uzis. And Avida XKDC is just not a big fan of the gun at all. They've not had a great performance so far. But Aurora, understanding that they do have a hot drop here at Eco Drain, are instantly out of there.
Oh, I mean, it's smart from them. They don't want to go for an early engagement, though. We've seen that happen earlier, and they are always in the shorter end, or meeting the shorter end. Onyx Olympus just passed by. No! Azrael! Hang in there! What, the time turner might have saved him for a few moments in and out, but still, Putra with MP5 would be taking them down. Here comes back up, but even Zoo West doesn't survive.
Yeah, I mean, the slide rail sometimes is a blessing, sometimes it's a bloody curse. They brought the whole squad right into the hands of Onyx. Axel's going to be spent now because all he has is a Mac 10. Does he have the VSK on him? Seems like not. Crime is the one that has the VSK, and Axel gets punished. This is something that probably Axel would want to work on, especially when you're the sniper and you're not very proficient on any of the other guns. Early game, you are dead weight to the squad if you get caught out.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of changes that needs to be done. Probably it's the movement that there also needs to be changed as well. But speaking of movement, Avida, XKDZ moving quite fast right now. They want to catch up with the points. They need to get all those points in if they want to have a chance to get to the top 6 by the end of the week. Buram United is another of those, but again, this slow pace in the beginning is the usual pace that Buram is showing, but it's more of the finisher that we are being surprised. Not so much of elimination, even being caught off guard by a lot of teams where I don't know when it's going to change.
Brilliant play by Avida XKDC, taking 3 players out of Zara EVOS. And clearly they had the better loot before bumping into EVOS, who was a little bit late to Eco Drain earlier. But thankfully, 1 revival made it to 2 and possibly 3 shortly. EVOS is right back in action. Magna up against Heavy on the other hand. Don't cry, really low. Valiant dashes towards the vehicle, but could not drive away as he gets caught by Drian. Mufasa, on the other hand, is going to get capped here, get moved. Time turner used up, but it was well worth it as he gets the knock.
Yeah, I mean, he was facing the wrong way. Quick 180, as well as a signal from the rest of the squad, gave them the opportunity. Now they have 3 eliminations. Slowly catching up to the points right now that Avida XKDC has brought in. Now, Onyx Olympus, well, they are one of the elimination leader from at some point in the early parts of this day, and now they're slowly building it up. And I'm really loving an Onyx Olympus silently moving up as well, but there's a lot of challenge that's happening midway.
Shadow Esports losing a couple of players to Vietnam. It's not good for business. They want to stay alive and kicking. Flash, on the other hand, probably with an appointment. Up against Argon. UAV sent out. Oh, Argon's going to walk right into the UAV? Yes, they are. All right. They're going to welcome this battle out there in open grounds. This is not looking good for Argon. They need to make it. Okay, another UAV. Let's go. Let's just confirm. Wait, did we just spot out 4 players there?
Yeah. So, and that's one thing. I mean, they managed to shoot one down, or one of the UAV down, and now they want to confirm as well to get the isolation play into the mix. And Noki right now, headshot. Not taken down, but it is receiving that damage that would disrupt whatever move they have. But Faiz on the other side, SKS bring down ABCD, but quick revive and heal UAV as well to make them survive. But here comes Argon going for the push right now. A little too aggressive for Team Flash, and that's what Argon is taking advantage of. But a takedown from the other side, from the God. And this might be rescue that can eliminate Argon MY.
Yeah, they need to go in here for the pickup instantly. Lightning Zone called up by Flash. Depending on the bolt maker in the 10 situation, and Argon eaten up by Flash, who were just steady, super cool in that situation. They sent out 2 UAVs to confirm that they had spotted out a squad, and Argon just sat there thinking that, yeah, we've got the guns to take this fight, guys. No, they did not. And Flash proved that a brilliant play from the squad, and obviously going in there for the split push as well, gave them a big advantage against the Malaysian squad.
Yeah, most of the time, if you're Argon, you would think that well, we're only seeing 2. So there's no trouble of going near. But out in the open, the God managed to spot them with that AWM. And that's where they fell for the trap. Now, let's see though. For Onyx Olympus, 5 elimination already. Might be able to see Chelsea, who's just chilling like a villain right now. But again, another trap might be sprung by the team of Shadow Esports, because the moment they step into the open, the rest of the squad of Shadow would be shooting at them. But no! They managed to pull those glue walls. Chelsea might survive, but no! It's Zairu with a mini Uzi. It's now a 3v4 situation that's bound to happen.
Yeah, Onyx needs to fix the way they get aggressive, because Chelsea survived that fight for way too long. He almost got away. 2 players now being hunted down. Shadow Esports in trouble. All of them in this tiny little compound. There is a vending machine outside, and nobody from Onyx is camping at the vending machine to prevent Shadow from pulling away a revival. Onyx is going to be backing away, looking for these points, and possibly allowing Shadow Esports to pull a couple of members right back in. What a Riptide Rhythm, but Adam jumps right in and instantly backed out. He knew that trouble was a looming. Juan gets caught out, but the Charge Buster drops him down to the ground. Putra with the glue wall does not go for the pickup onto Zairu. And here comes Aurora as well. Smelling blood in the waters. The Sharks are out, and Malaysia wants these points. They spot out Rin. Valiant Dash breaks down the defenses. Rin still alive. Great play by Rin to play survival.
Rin finally being brought down, and Onyx Adam is feeling the wrath as well. Here comes Aurora Gaming. Backstep coming from Zairu. Will take down one of the players, and a 1v1's happening, but no revive. No, there was a revive. It's Crime in the nick of time.
Crime in the nick of time, indeed. But Aurora, with the pressure, the moment they heard those shots, I mean, that's what you want to see out of Malaysia. Is vulturing on these teams the moment they see an opportunity. And they have always been passive in the past tournaments, and this is definitely a much better side of Malaysia, represented by Aurora here. The aggression is well-timed, and those eliminations well-executed, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, judging from skills that they do have an Oscar. They also have a Time Turner from the Chrono and 8124, so you know the ideation would be aggression. And Onyx Olympus being taken down a little bit early. We didn't expect that to happen. We saw them get a lot of elimination. They were the elimination leader with 8 already, but unfortunately being taken down because of that mix that has been brought in by Aurora Gaming.
I mean, Avida just playing bumper cars out there. Good to see them in high spirits. Avida definitely needs that for themselves. 18 total points so far picked up. Definitely not a better version of the Thai squad. They're representing a region that's known to be extremely lethal, but they don't look as lethal as they come. Buriram themselves have toned down their pressure on the competition, so I'm really wondering, when are we actually going to see Buriram wake up, Neptune? But I have to say, though, props to Buriram. Even without trying, they're currently in the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a slow pace coming from Buriram United, but most of the time they're taking the #1 spot. Probably it's because every time we talk about Buriram United, they're always stopping the board in the knockout stage, and now they don't want to even step in that #1, even if it's needed. So I hope this plan works for them to grab a championship towards the end.
Absolutely, man. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't forget to hit that like as you're tuning in. Thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast. We have got Free Fire Max Asia Invitational in action as well. The broadcast just started about 5 minutes ago. You guys want to watch some of your favorite teams perform there? I don't know. It's a tough one, man. How do you even make a pick? Free Fire Max Asia Invitational versus a Southeast Asian deadly lobby. It's a tough one. But what's great is if you're a Free Fire fan, you have got a lot to pick from.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win either way. It's a win-win either way. And I'm really loving that even with both of the broadcasts happening, there's still a lot of aggression that is being brought in by Southeast Asia. Well, definitely it's just Southeast Asia. On the other side, it's just a few representatives. But I'm really loving that. It shows us the difference of the region, as well as give them a taste of what they're up to. And if they need to make an adjustment towards future tournaments, then they can do so because they've experienced that.
Yeah, and I can say Bangladesh has definitely been doing so well in the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational run so far. And surprisingly, even Expand, right? Another Malaysian squad that hasn't really seen better days, doing extremely consistent, extremely well with the points over there, just like what Aurora's doing in these lobbies.
Yeah, I do agree. There's just a lot of hope this time around. Again, I think it's one of those days when they pop off, when you mentioned that they might have heard an earful from their managers right here. They are trying their best to perform that well.
Oh man, Shadow, Avida, Flash. A three-way battle, not looking good for Avida, because if Shadow Esports turns around, once they start hearing gunfights between Flash and Avida XKDC, Avida might just go down again a little bit too early. But a reposition from Flash as Avida moves into their compound. Anusi down, the God finding him with the Car 98. Easy shot. Mink with a follow-up with the VSK as well, and you can see the enhanced hammers have been actively working on the side of Flash.
I do agree. I mean, enhanced weapon being a little bit too aggressive, especially with the tactics that Team Flash is bringing in right now. Long Kong, heard, spotted, and now about to be pushed. And good taking in the other side. The God make a move, but that is not a timing that they're looking for. It's a good thing the Zom is in there, spotted out, and there goes the elimination. Not coming from Team Flash, it's coming from Shadow Esports.
Man, and that's exactly what I talked about. So great decision making from the side of Shadow. WAG, Aurora, EVOS. A three-way battle. Not looking good. This is about to turn very messy for the Malaysian squad if they cannot get away from WAG. They are on the underside here. WAG right up on top. And Aurora gets to block away a lot of the shots just thanks to the compound that they're holding on to. Zuez taking a couple of shots. Not too sure exactly who that is against. Potentially up against the Shadow Esports players. Heavy versus P Esports could be a thing here. As Heavy now rotates out in the open looking for a defensive spot, but the defensive spot could just be the one Heavy's holding on to.
It's tough to decide which one you want to take. Definitely a house would be better because of the top cover, but Steffi right now being triggered, making sure that Heavy will not feel so much of those. But from the other side, a fainted refuge is also being used. This would be wasted effort with all those nades, so they need to move in.
Yeah, brilliant defense here by Heavy. The nades just not connecting perfectly on the side of PE Sports. The split blitz, it's a little bit too weak to take them down in that situation. Comes another nade as I say that, but still not tickling the boys on the side of Heavy. Ice grenade up on top. It's not going to be messing with Heavy just yet. PE Sports just wasting all the nades that they have right now. They must have a ton on them.
Well, let's see though. Hopefully they can grab a few more. Team Flash! Well, the pressure from Shadow Esports is now being retaliated on. They got 9 elimination. 10th might be if they take down the Rin. But the Zom has been shot by Aurora Gaming from above. They still stuck to their position below WAG, but they were given an opportunity to survive because Team Flash is beating down on Shadow Esports, who have clear view on them.
Flash. The consistency is mind-blowing, and I am loving it. Now leading the lobby, 9 eliminations. They're positioning themselves really well for the next circle. High chances of surviving into the top 3 once again. Magna though, a little bit too far away from the circle. Heavy versus the squad of PE Sports is still continuing. And they have to be careful because they need to travel into the circle as well. As Buriram now makes their way in. With the mini launcher, Lightning Zone have been called upon as well, not by Buriram. They're rotating straight into Aurora. Wasana's shot on spot. Car 98 finding the connection. Jun gets knocked down, and here comes the Valiant Dash as well. And Buriram showing us a little bit of aggression.
That's what I'm talking about. Quick decision and quick play to eliminate a squad. And Aurora Gaming has been hanging in there for the past 4 or 5 minutes. It's only Brim and I who knocked them down. Now let's see on this side. The battle of Heavy and PE Sports has now unfolded. And PE Sports seems like the winner. But on the other side, a shot onto Lao Ho, and he gets knocked down. And even on this side of the map, WAG is now showing their wrath against Evo's Divine. Now, we have 6 teams remaining, and it seems like it would still be trouble as Team Flash and WAG still in the mix.
Dude, the circle's just moving in advantage for Team Flash. This is brilliant for them to pick up the 3rd booyah of the day. He was up against WAG, not looking good for the Vietnamese squad at this point of time. Wang Am just pressured a tad bit here. PLS1 and Tikui right up on top. They've got the slide rails to find a quick reposition on Flash. Look at them, just smiling ear to ear. Leading the lobby with the most number of eliminations. I would not be surprised if there is another bolt maker on their side to pull in, and they're just waiting for that perfect timing.
Lucido, I mean, I do think that they managed to save up a lot. Coachingo,
GG.
not a good decision. The rest of the squad has already fallen in there before they step into slide rails. And Evo's Divine is not looking good to get a few more points in this game. But a shift is about to happen right now. No one's moving as much as we want them. They don't want to be caught off guard standing into the open.
Very well played by WAG, just waiting for that opportune moment to attack the EVOS players, and they could not find recovery off of that. Glue wall melters and ice grenade dropped on the WAG players' heads here by Buriram, trying to make sure WAG does not get away from this defensive spot. Buriram now aiming at the Flash players as well. Bolt Maker, just as assumed, Flash calls it out as their final bit of insurance to keep the rest of the squads away from them as they rotate towards that circle.
Yeah, they have been waiting for Magna Esports to move in, but unfortunately for them, they have been targeted by Buriram United as well. And this is not the best timing that they will be forced into a fight. Magna Esports were ready on them, but no one's ready for that shot. Wasted opportunity indeed, and even the God is feeling that wrath. Now, Mink will need to put so much pressure on Magna, but it's more of a utility game. He still managed to knock them down.
Yeah, Mink's just chucking everything at them at this point of time. EVOS Divine taken out of the equation. And look at Mink go. Ice grenades, those frags, finding the connection. And Mink heads on in just to finish this off all on his own. He's got that Steffi, gets that painted refuge up. But unfortunately, he has to meet his demise through the M590. Magna just outnumbered him in that situation. Tikui, the only one left here for the side of WAG. Buriram gearing up for a guaranteed booyah in this final circle.
Well, we've been asking where you at, Buriram United, and they are now here to represent. It's a battle against 2 players from Magna Esports and 1 player from WAG. And if they start off that fight, Buriram United might not be getting that much Riptide ready on them. And instantaneously, from every player, they goes for the shot. And BRU for the booyah.
Ah, man, I'm not impressed, man. Buriram's capable of so much more destruction out there on the lobby. And I'm wondering exactly what is this up with. Is it because Turner is playing in the position of get high and they're not used to the chemistry of Turner in the squad just yet and they have to play survival? Or is it a case where they're just holding back? Because I do have a theory. Whenever Buriram wants to go for a guaranteed booyah, they might be bringing Turner in because he's a great survivor in these lobbies. And whenever they want to go all out with the point farming, they're going to be bringing Get High in as they slap every other squad out of the lobby.
Well, that's a good theory. That might be true because we've seen a lot of numbers being brought in, especially with Genhai is involved. He knows the rotation that Wasana has been taken overall, even if switch it up. If he has a Cassie, switch it up from Wasana to Jonah, he still managed to catch up. And that's how what makes Buriram United deadly at this point.
Yeah, and I think this is... Okay, first of all, Buriram has not been performing the whole day. They are in the top 6 and they have now climbed the leaderboard a little bit more, even though they are not performing like the savage Buriram that they are, right? So this is a very worrying state for the rest of the Southeast Asian lobby who are actually trying hard game after game after game. You look at the Vietnamese squads, they are hustling for these points and Buriram's just running around in circles, not doing much and still climbing the leaderboard very consistently. That's very scary. So respect to Buriram United Esports for being that capable. I mean, this is a walk in the park for them right now, Neptune. Yeah. Whatever they're experimenting with is still not going south for them. This is a team now that is focusing purely on placement points and not on eliminations at all.
I do agree. There's a lot more that can be brought in by Buriram United right here, but it hasn't shown just yet. There's a few teams that we are expecting as well, EVOS Divine, but I don't want to hope anymore. Buriram United is giving me a glimpse of hope. EVOS Divine, not. But again, we still have 2 games though that they might be able to turn around, hang in there in the top 6, and then stick to it towards the end.
Now, I think EVOS Divine is just playing around with this, right? But they have to be careful because they are not the 3-time world champs. They have not shown us enough consistency. They have not shown us enough dominance for us to really believe that, you know, they can muck around and then still find dominance towards the very end. There's just no proven fact out of EVOS Divine just yet. Yes, they are the reigning Esports World Cup champions. But, you know, ever since then, they haven't shown up very strong at all. So I think they're playing with fire for sure. They better not get burned. Currently, they are on the very precipice of breaking into the top 6. But we've got 2 more days of battle. We still have got a couple of games to play here in the first day of the final week. And EVOS Divine is not showing us any sort of magic just yet. Even with their survival runs, I think it's still quite weak. They are not really able to survive into that final circle as consistently as some of the Vietnamese squads out here. So it's definitely concerning. I mean, as they get on into another Esports World Cup, which they are guaranteed a spot at, how well are they going to do there is still a very big question mark, Neptune.
I do agree. The only good story in that part is they're not going to do it in one day. They have 3 days in place.
Yes.
So they sleep right now, study their opponent, and in the final 2 days, they might be able to bring something into the table to take that the top 6 quite easily. But again, that's where the threat comes in for some of the teams who are really doing their best to catch up, as you pointed out.
Whether or not I believe in EVOS Divine, I believe in a player called Rasya. And he is one of the best out of Indonesia. I think there's still a lot from him that we haven't seen, especially in the sniper meta, man. The man's just not showing off just yet. Another player I think who I want to see more of is a sniper, but not Moshi, right? I want to see more from Axel out of Aurora, but we have to focus on the MVP this time round. Moshi getting the MVP with 3 eliminations, very rare situation. With the M82B this time around, he racked up a total of 3,052 on the damage. This is Moshi keeping it cool out there, not going all out just yet. And still, Buriram managed to get onto the top 5 leaderboard for eliminations, which is not good for the other squads. Because again, this is Buriram not trying. Except towards the very end, they only went ape up against Aurora because they had to, they wanted to get into that final circle. But apart from that, Vietnam still showing up strong with the numbers. And look at the God, 9 eliminations, no joke, brother.
Yeah, definitely, and that only shows that the elimination on that map was not that much. But looking at the team stats right now, skills that has been brought in, I guess that change in active skill for Terna as well, as they try it out from what they witnessed from the other teams, is also a factor. Because they don't have that usual aggression, doesn't have that Cassie to bring that rusher into an unstoppable force. But that Steffi, I think, is working for them, especially in moments like that.
Absolutely, man. Let's see if or not they can continue with their number-heavy game here, because I think this is decent. Turner, definitely the newest addition, is struggling to find his way around on the battlefield. 731 damage. Man, that's not what I was looking for. A Buriram player, right? Buriram has always been known for their aggression. Their mechanical skills has been lethal out there on the battlefield. Even Wasana, the moment he got thrown into the squad, he was still throwing up those big numbers out there on the battlefield. Turner has not lived up to those kinds of expectations. But again, with my theory crafting, if Buriram's bringing Turner in for the survival gameplay, then he's definitely doing a great job.
Well, looking at the game standings right now, definitely a great job for Buriram United topping board, no one overtaking them. But Team Flash, number of eliminations they have, and even being taken down early, they still managed to sneak in to that second spot. Secret WAG, though, not so much, despite of being second place. And again, we witnessed that it is slow. I did mention that that was not a high note in terms of elimination, only 63 points in total out of everyone in this game. So it's probably a slow pace at this point, but that gives more opportunity for Team Flash and WAG to take that top spot, and Buriram managed to get that third.
And we have got 2 more games to go. Purgatory, and then the randomizer gets whipped up again. But Flash doing well. 84 points right up on top right now. This is the 3rd best day with 2 more games to go. Flash just needs to find the final circle 2 more times to make this their very best run so far in the FFWS C Spring 2026. And I think they have definitely got something down in terms of strategy, because everything has been working out for them. Placements have been working out great. Eliminations have been working out great. The composition of active passive skills have just been on fire. I've got so much of expectations of a Flash right now.
Yeah, really looking forward to them bringing this home to that #1 spot. But right now, let's head in, or we're going to head into game number 5 right now. It is my favorite map, and hopefully the favorite situation will be brought in on that flight path. This is Purgatory, where neither heaven or hell can save the teams that would not be performing for today.
Yeah, neither heaven or hell can save them, but maybe a good use of the active skill could just be the trick. Is it going to be that A124? Is it going to be a well-timed Valiant dash or the Riptide rhythm? We'll have to wait and see as we head on into the 5th game of the day at Purgatory.
Well, let's see though. Looking at flight path, I'm still hoping for that cruel flight path, but I'm still not giving that for the moment. Looking at where the teams will be dropping off, WAG already on their way to Crossroads, and Shadow Esports, they usually take a Moat House, but they're splitting up right now, taking advantage of the situation wherein they might be able to spot out and take down a few of the players from Avidex KDC. Argon MY though heads to the field, and Onyx Olympus goes into Ski Lodge, but judging from everyone's position, there's only a few instances wherein the hot engagement or early engagement is about to unfold.
Let's see, how does EVOS work their way away from this one? Out in the open, Rasia finding the mini Uzi shot onto Tawan. Rasia is just one of those snipers who do fairly well on the SMGs. And that's something that Axel needs to catch up on for sure, because it's going to increase the survivability of Aurora, especially in these early drops, because you definitely have the mini Uzi to work around with. And if you can't really get those knocks in the initial phase of the game, then your team's going to be under a lot of pressure. AimGod keeping an eye on Avidex KDC, has to be careful as he waits for backup from the rest of his team members.
Yeah, I mean, good point indeed. If you want to go in for that early elimination, switching weapons would be a good play. But for Evo's Divine right now, SKS might be able to take down Pablo. Did manage to do so. Now, Winter needs to be dealt with, but on this side, it's a 1v3 that, it's quite surprisingly, even one of them has been knocked down.
Absolutely, man. Ray is recovering real quickly here. Winter's going to get caught out between so many players. Rasia has got the SKS in hand. Great for the pressure from the back. Up against Winter. Rasia, no problem with a mini Uzi. Picking up 3 eliminations solid at the very start of the game. Like I said, if there's anyone we can depend on the side of EVOS, it's definitely Rasia.
Yeah, Rasia, the Wonder Kid. Now, Team Flash, very close, moving in. I think they're just walking, but good thing that Ray managed to pick up an ATV on their side, regroup with the rest of the squad, and they are being shot at by ABCD, so that's a prompt for Evo Divine right now to prepare and get ready for that fight. But also in the minimap, we've witnessed WAG sneaking in a little bit, so pressure from both sides is not looking good for Evos.
Demons is in. And Zyru out for the side of Onyx Olympus. Up against Argon. This is going to be a tough fight. Players have spotted him, but he's still got a boost on his side, so no issues for the 2 players on the side of Onyx. Repositioning. All right, they messed that one up.
Well, abandoning ship, especially if it turns to its belly. I mean, it's rare we see that happen. Most of the time, like, they go on the side, it still falls on the wheels, and they can still move forward. But Onyx Olympus just have to add a little bit of flavor and comedy into that driving. But it's 11 teams still surviving. We're about to see the second phase in a bit as it closes down. But Evo's Divine still on the high ground. Great position to take down on the edge of the circle.
Glad to see Evo's Divine waking up this time round. 4 eliminations early, but they gotta be careful though, because Traps is just sitting there watching. Rasia's watching Traps. Traps watching Rasia. Got eyes on each other, and Traps just wants no heat from EVOS anymore. Backing away from that potential engagement.
Yeah, I can hear the music out of that situation. I mean, whoever moves, whoever
the same
makes
music for the driving of Onyx earlier. Yeah, you gotta love the comedy moments. Yeah, in FFWSC. Heavy versus Aurora. This is not gonna be good for Heavy, because Aurora is definitely on fire at this point.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, early engagement happening. This is what Aurora is all about. Now, Sichuan would be that ace in the card or ace in the deck from Heavy right now. A knockdown happened. The rest of the squad can either pull a launch pad and then they can just jump in. But with that, they just use the binoculars to force Aurora out of that hill.
Fasa. Team Heavy might just be going in for the... No, not the right way. Time turner pulled out. Sichuan now in trouble. Oh, but Don't Cry gets the Winchester knock onto Zuez. Aurora now in a little bit of trouble. Riptide Rhythm, where is it going though? Oh, beautiful positioning with the Riptide Rhythm. Zuez down. Don't Cry taking advantage with the Winchester. Asriel down as well. What a rush by Heavy. Absolutely smashing Aurora. They've got a survivor on those revives. So it's not done just yet for the squad.
That's one thing now. I mean, if you rush and you're stopping midway, you didn't expect that much, but Heavy is showing quite differently. Even everyone, like a couple of long-range weapon coming from them still hits so hard. Onyx Olympus right now, well, we've seen so many times that Onyx Olympus has been rocking it with the early elimination, or with the early elimination leader, but it's just a survivability that they need to work in, and if they manage to pull that off, then they might be on their way to get the top 6 quite early as well.
Let's see, WAG versus Argon still on the cards here. Argon's not in a spot to take a fight actually. Shadow Esports, oh no, it's EVOS actually closing on the on the Argon player. And EVOS has just been hunting Argon down from the very start of this game. WAG with a advantageous position now. Do they have those long-range weapons? We see a Groza in hand.
Oh.
EVOS on the rush. One player from the side of Argon right behind them. Faiz is definitely in trouble. He's got a vehicle on his side. But Rasia has got the AWM, so even if he gets into the car, he's definitely toast. Ochil. Narrow in hand. No! Totally misses the player. Aim God doesn't know.
Aim God, indeed. I mean, Cord, you were questioning about a Cord at some point, and it does have great accuracy. It's just the movement, the slow movement that is being brought in because of how heavy that LMG is. But Rasia right now, Car 98. But unfortunate for him, he was beat by PLS1 with that shot against Traps. Now, Argon MY is not safe yet because they still have one player, but they're outside of blue and 2 teams guarding them.
What are we going to get off of this standoff here? Probably nothing much more than whatever we've already gotten. WAG first elimination, they'll take that and they'll walk away happy. EVOS on the other hand, a appointment with Onyx Olympus could just break down here at Mode House. And EVOS straight in. Coach Heal with a Cryo Mine. Has to use it. Oh, Coda popped already. Cryo Mine thrown out. Doesn't detect anyone just yet. And Onyx has got nowhere to run. Aim God ran straight into a couple of players. The Riptide Rhythm going wide. Aim God needs to get picked right back up. Coach Shield knocks Adam down to the ground. Ray with the pressure with the Mag 7. Can't find the players just yet. Rasia being pressured. Blue wall supremacy. Rasia footwork gets the revival. You can always depend on the Wonder Kid.
And Wonder Kid indeed goes ring around the rosy, and Potra has been taken down by Rasia on a mini Uzi. Onyx Olympus being taken down, and an awesome 10-point lead by EVOS Divine from the first 8-minute mark.
You can always depend on the Wonder Kid. Aim God down, PLS1 shoots him out of the sky. But he was right there at the vending machine after the coins they've earned off of annihilating their brethren Onyx Olympus. Getting the band back in should not be a problem as he is revived instantaneously. Aurora, PE Esports, Heavy. A 3-way battle and a horse in between.
Let's see. Hopefully no one shoots at the horse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good distraction, though.
Uncalled for to shoot at horses, man.
I mean, it's a great distraction because at some point these players look for that red on their crosshairs, and if you point at a horse, definitely it would turn red. So it's a great distraction for the other teams on the other side of that crosshair. But looking at how the teams in our position right now, Marbleworks would be broken down in a bit because everyone's just staying in there. Those who are left behind, WAG, Evo's Divine, and Argon, it needs a lot more of traveling to do.
Absolutely. And Evo's Divine still outside the circle. They're not going to be too frustrated. They're still hunting Argon. Come on, give them a break, Evos. It's farming Argons right now. And WAG, on the other hand, with a decent defensive spot, sending out a UAV to spot the area around them and finding absolutely no one. Dinoculus scan coming on through from Team Flash. We'll be able to... No, actually not Flash, because 5 players got scanned out. Let's potentially be Esports with the Dinoculus. WAG with their Dinoculus spots out absolutely no one as they rotate across the bridge. So decent enough positioning for WAG as they spot the next circle. 10 squads still active and alive. Everybody in the 10 squads alive and kicking. 40 players on the battlefield. And we are running out of space to play on.
I do agree. And then it was a stalemate earlier. No one's moving because they're waiting for next phase of the circle, whether it be a U-shift or just in the middle. And this is brought into the middle. The WAG taking advantage of the high ground they have, but they might not know that Buildup United is just southern, in the southern position from where they are. So hopefully they are careful. Even if they don't see anyone from where they came from, there's a few more to where they are intended to go. And they're not even in the next phase of the circle, which worries me a lot.
Buriram. Zoom all the way across the battlefield. Easy peasy. 3 vehicles on their side. No funny fiasco on those vehicles this time around. Unlike Onyx.
No flipping the car. We usually flip the coin, but the car is flipped.
Or the falls on heads, you have to walk. Now, a great high ground position here from Buriram, but the circle's just not on their side just yet.
Yeah.
Send the UAV out, not going to spot anyone. Magna's right in front. Not for long, I think, because if Buriram rushes at them, Magna's going to be toast.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've seen how quickly Buildup United has made work on a lot of teams right here, especially from that jump. Especially with a vehicle right now, spotting one open, and we've witnessed how far a player can be thrown if they have that vehicle on them. Argon, though, use a binocular to spot out the edge of that river, and they might also, I guess that's WAG, who spots out Buildup United, or Heavy, because of all the noise that BRU has been making.
Absolutely, and Buriram at the very edge of this next circle. WAG right behind them, clearly in vehicles. And Buriram's going to go out to spot the boys. They hear their vehicles. But it seems like they're not going to go all wild just yet. Is concerned about the damage off of the circle as well. So this is going to be a decent spot for them to hold on to as they await WAG.
Well, WAG, that was smart enough to trigger that bolt maker. They want to take advantage. They want to take this compound, but not only that, they want to take down Argon MY. I guess that was the initial target, but it is because of the blue that they're losing out in that fight.
Absolutely, and WAG is just unfortunate there. They just chose to take the fight in the wrong position. Argon's out first before WAG, so that's a blessing in terms of placement points. At the very least, if they do tank a loss very early on. EVOS rotating around, looking for a better spot on that high ground and the entry into the next circle. 9 more squads left in here. Shadow Esports under pressure by Flash. Level 3 Winchester in the hands of ABCD. That's going to be deadly. His active skill is alive and kicking, waiting to be used. The Valiant Dash. Breaking through these defenses off of Shadow. Not going to be a problem at all. He waits for the backup. And here comes the pressure now from Team Flash.
Well, they're under pressure, bringing down on Shadow Esports. And there goes the Painted Refuge. Just make sure that they survive a little bit, not receive a lot of damage out of the throwables being brought in by Team Flash. But the God right now is trying to break down on those windows. Again, doesn't have the opportunity to use that Valiant Dash just yet. I think what they're aiming for is get into the compound, force them in the corner, and then use that Valiant Dash. But unfortunately, no one has been pushed back. A reversal of that Valiant Dash, and from both sides, everyone is falling.
The God can be picked up here. The Zom is not making the right decision in that situation, and he pays such a big price. Flash is down for the count, out of the lobby early this time around. was expecting the third booyah, but it seems like the 2 booyah curse is still sticking with them.
Well, they got away from the booyah curse out of a back-to-back managed by Team Flash, but Evo is divine right now on high ground. The only problem here, though, is Burim United is on the same situation. They have the high ground, clear view of everyone else, and the zone is favoring Burim United, but not Evo's Divine. But in terms of elimination, they are rocking it, being elimination leader of this, and they might be able to take down BRU.
Oh, great position though, but Buriram has got the circle. EVOS will be in trouble, so payback is definitely not your good friend when Buriram returns fire later on. But Buriram will have to be a little bit busy now with Magna as they are holding a very close proximity to the squad. EVOS will need to move, but WAG needs to be taken out of the equation first, and the rest of the squad on the side of EVOS looking to do exactly that. As they spot out Tikui, they rush in for that backstab, finding nobody in this lightning zone. This is going to be a little tough for those rotations.
Oh, yeah, rotation indeed needs to be worked fast by right now by Evo's Divine into the corner. But as we look into Burim United, they are making work of Heavy, but no one's going down just yet. Magna Esports trying to fight back, and I think they're about to win. And there goes Burim United. When we expect that they will be the ones grabbing another booyah.
What did we just see? Buriram getting smashed by Magna. That's the first if I ever saw one. My goodness me. Buriram had the element of surprise, but Magna was cool, calm, and collected in that situation, and now they make it into the next circle as well. This time, this could just be that Malaysian circle for Aurora and Magna. The battle on the opposite side between the Vietnamese squads will come to a quick end as Axel gets Alan out of the equation. WAG has got one more survivor here, and the circle favors EVOS.
Evo's Divine right now, it's only a few meters and they'll be able to back away. Now a battle between Magna and Aurora is now unfolding. Jans backs away as utility is being thrown by the rest of the squad. The Axel, though, doesn't have an opening, have to barricade themselves with a glue wall, but that leaves the rest of the squad to go down in their floor, and their bodies has already been eliminated, taken down. The pickup can be done, but Evo's Divine can end this quickly.
It's just one of those weird moments where Magna's rising to the top. A valiant effort from them to annihilate Aurora, but EVOS Divine, great from start to end. Finally, the White Tigers are waking up in the competition.
This is what we're talking about. I mean, they did quite good work earlier, but this is much better. Getting one booyah can bring them higher on the leaderboard. I'm really surprised that they had to wait for this to happen. Game number 5, but everyone from the fans out there will be taking it. I think they moved up a couple of spots, if not even more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was a great game from the side of EVOS Divine, and they should definitely be able to overtake Buriram United Esports after that unfortunate run from Buriram. And overall, this is EVOS Divine proving that they can go from nowhere to somewhere really good on the leaderboard, just with one solid game on their side. This is game number 5, Neptune. And for them to pull it off right here, right now, in such a fashion, is just absolutely brilliant. I love to see this. And we were talking about how Rasia can definitely be depended on, and he proved that in this game as well.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Rasia has gathered a lot more. I think leaving even the rest of his squad behind in terms of numbers. But if it brings the team to a booyah, then so be it. They are going to take it. And the numbers as well, like 12 on the placement point, but we're still expecting how many eliminations they have, because they were on top of the board right there even before that final battle did happen.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, in terms of performance, in terms of the steadiness of EVOS on those rotations, it looks so much more sharper. We were questioning, like, what's up with this squad? Like, are they going to wake up? They said, all right, okay, yeah, we're definitely going to wake up. We are capable. And like I said, right, they were playing with fire. They have not really proven that they can really get the job done when they want to. Now, this is the one game where they have gotten a solid one-up on a lot of these other squads in terms of performance. Now, can they do it again? Or will this be called a fluke? So we will have to wait and see. The final game, the randomizer, about to torture everybody out there. It's either luck is on your side or it just isn't.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, luck and RNG is a factor for most instances. Like imagine flight path, the circle ending up favoring you, the shift favoring you as well. The teams who are being forced because of those factors, who's getting in your way of really probably stop you in getting all those elimination or helping you in adding to those elimination points. But they just need to be prepared overall.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, to be prepared for this final battle, it's impossible if we don't know what the next map is going to be. So we will have to whip that randomizer out in a little bit, but only after we look at the performance of these squads. Like, how many points did EVOS manage to get? Where did they manage to jump into the overall leaderboard? And who is still dominating the overall leaderboard? Are the Vietnamese squads still up at the top? And if possible, how many points did Team Flash pull for themselves? Because WAG actually had a decent enough run in this game, Neptune.
Yeah, WAG did, and I think Team Flash didn't do so much. Being eliminated early, you didn't see them even halfway through, so that's one advantage that WAG has been taken overall. When it's just unfortunate that there was just a mix-up in there when we thought that we are going to see them survive a little bit more. They didn't do so, and they end up being taken out a little bit early. But given that point, there's still an opportunity that they can be ahead of Team Flash by the end of this day.
Absolutely. And I'm actually quite surprised with what WAG has been able to pull off today. In the overall grand scheme of things, this has been not one of their best days. This, at this point of time, is their best day. Because the most number of points the squad has ever scored was 89 points. And looking at their performance in the previous matchup, they should be somewhere around that right now, if not on that 89-point mark. And that's the most number of points they have ever scored on a good run within the current season. And they've got one more game to go. If WAG can wrap the day up with a booyah, that would be the cherry on top of this beautiful cake that they have been putting together the whole day through. Because the consistency is amazing, but not a single booyah from them. But speaking of not a single booyah, the team that just grabbed the booyah has proven that Russia is still one of the best out there. 10 eliminations for the guy, 4,934, and he was rocking the initial parts of the game with the SKS.
Yeah, I mean, quite surprised SKS. Well, just have the range, still have the scope, but look at that board. Even Ray is in there, but Aurora in Magna Esports also putting themselves up. But other than Russia taking that 10 elimination, I guess the rest of the squad is not putting in that much. It's more of some of the teams taking advantage of a few of those points in, and it's just Evo's Divine who rake up so much from that fight. Even final moment, that's just preparation to how Russia is going to snipe you towards the end.
Yeah, and I did not expect buildup to get taken down so easily in that situation because there wasn't any fanciful play out of the Magna players. I think it was just a fair gunfight out of all of them. But let's take a quick breakdown of the active skills here. You've got a Skylar, Cassie, Nero, Oscar showing a very capable, aggressive play setup here from the side of EVOS Divine. And when you look at the passive skills off of the Olivia that Ray has, the Cassie-Olivia combo is one that we have been asking, like, why are players not bringing it out? Ray says, no problem, let me get that done.
One surprising thing as well is we are seeing Luna once again. The increased fire rate is being used by Ray to help out their teammates, and most of the time it has been the Nikita who has been included in that passive mix. So good that they're trying something different and it's working right now. But looking at the numbers of the rest of the squad, Aim Guy is not doing good with the aim. Even the damage as well is a little bit low for Coach Shield, but it's more of a Rasio right now.
Yeah, I think it's all right because in the overall grand scheme of things, you see the assists being really strong on the rest of the players on the side of EVOS. It is a very heavy game from them. 17 eliminations, 12 placement points for a total of 29. Still not breaking the record set by Team Flash at the very start of the day with a 30-point bomber, but this is good enough for them to climb the leaderboard in a solid manner. Magna Esports Club, this is their recovery match after so many matches where we just haven't seen the best out of them. Secret WAG, like I said, picking up enough points to maintain dominance on the leaderboard. But towards the bottom, Vida XKDC and Team Flash crashed out way too early this time.
Yeah, Vida XKDC has been targeted a lot. Same goes for Argon. I guess Argon is the ones that EVO's Divine needs to thank because of all those eliminations that they have. And there you have it. For day number 1, after game number 5, WAG takes the number 1 spot. Team Flash, though, close behind, and EVO's Divine, they move up 4 spot even from this game.
yeah, from not being in the top 6 to now being in the top 3. EVOS Divine with a massive leap over the rest of their opponents who have been performing decently consistent throughout the day. This is very impressive off of EVOS Divine. We got to respect it. Buriram barely trying. In fact, failing and still being in the top 6 is a big worry for me for the rest of these squads who are looking for the qualifier. Like we said at the introduction of the day, we have got so many Titans who are looking for the top 6 spots. And these are the Titans who have been consistent enough. And you look on the right-hand side, do we have teams who are capable of challenging them? Absolutely. We have got Onyx still here. We've got Vita XKDC who have just not activated throughout the whole day. Look at this. 9 eliminations only for Vita XKDC in 5 games. That's ridiculous, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's see, though, on which map the teams are going to be brought in game number 6, because if it goes to whatever teams or whatever the top dogs has been taking the Booyah, then that would be deadly for the rest. And it's about to end. Slide rails, Solara! It is looking like Buriram United might be getting a Booyah here.
Man, Buriram's already got 3 Booyahs on Solara. You're telling me they're about to make it 4? Because we are on the map where they have been dominating all season long. For sure, this is going to be a tough fight for the rest of the squads. But I'm also expecting Flash to wake up, right? Because this is one of those maps where Flash has done very well in terms of placement points, as well as looking for the eliminations. The surprising thing is, Flash does not have a single Booyah so far on Solara. Maybe this is the game they earned their very first one.
I mean, if we judge it from elimination, they're quite at par between Buriram United, even Heavy and Team Flash. It's just that Booyah factor that leaves them behind. But if they want to get away from the 2 Booyah curse, then Team Flash really needs to clutch this right now. I'm really excited, though, because from last time we've seen, again, like, given the fact that Buriram United did get that Booyah, that's where WAG take that 2nd place, and a few teams has been moving up slowly. But we did mention that Solara map is quite slow in terms of eliminations, 63 in total. Hopefully it's faster this time. More elimination gives more chances for the team to catch up on the numbers.
Absolutely, man. Chat's definitely calling for a few teams to perform. Some are looking for Buriram to go absolutely crazy. Some are looking for WAG. Some are looking for EVOS Divine. But it's going to be really difficult to determine exactly who's going to wake up in this next match, because EVOS Divine are finally in here to play. Buriram definitely wants to make that big leap up the leaderboard. They have not been focusing on eliminations at all throughout the whole day. This is one of those rare days where we see Buriram have more placement points compared to eliminations.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're waiting for. It's more of elimination from the past, and now if they can find a final circle even more, they're preparing for the champion rush condition to be achieved, or the following after the champion rush condition. They don't want to go unlimited games anymore. They want to make sure that they can get that Booyah after reaching that 80 points, so that they will be declared the champion of this competition. But that's still far from the future. We are now heading into our final game in Solara right now, so I'm looking forward to how the teams are going to treat this.
We were talking about how it's very important for Secret WAG to get the qualifier into the grand finals, and it's very clear that even WAG wants to get into the grand finals. They are hustling and they have gotten to the top of the leaderboard, but not a single Booyah to their name so far, which means even if they get into the grand finals at Vietnam, can they walk away with championship? Maybe not, if they cannot secure these guaranteed Booyahs for themselves. So this is going to be a very big challenge here for Secret WAG, Neptune. I don't think this is their best map, but it's a map where they do fairly well on, right? So if we look at WAG, they've got 1 Booyah so far on the Solara map, but not the most aggressive squad. Definitely not the most consistent squad when it comes to placements on this map.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they need to work on right now. And this is like WAG, though they were great from the start in phase 1. They are now just recovering after a huge loss, especially a couple of losses from last week. So this is a good start from them. Hopefully that doesn't happen. They have a good chance of ending this. It's just unfortunate that they're a week too late to get into the grand finals if they manage to get the top 2. But there's no more waiting. We want to go and start that final game number 6 in Solara. So let's head into the flight.
Fun fact, before we head on into the Solara match to wrap the day up, the one currently leading the leaderboard with the eliminations is T Kui out of WAG. Can he continue to put the numbers up?
Can he lead Secret WAG to a victory, to a booyah here on the final map of the day as we fly on into Solara to drop on those light rails once again, to zip around all around the battlefield looking for those big numbers.
Well, let's see, looking at flight path right now from Eco Drain, they head up to Riders Club, and a lot of teams spreading out already, and hot engagement might be happening in Casa Vista, but Aurora is planning to head into Aquarium, so no one aiming for that early engagement, for that hot drop, and this is a good story indeed, because there they will have more opportunity to prepare before they go for that battle.
It seems to be a very quiet game here at the get-go for Solara. No hot drops to keep us entertained, but this will obviously increase the survivability of a lot of these squads as go in here for a solid looting progress at the very start in itself. Buriram versus... Avida XKDC versus Onyx Olympus. Might just be on the table here. Lawan versus Demons. Blue Wall. P90 versus Mac 10. P90 wins, but 3v1, 3 wins.
Better weapon doesn't mean that you're going to win that game. Better teammates definitely will make you win that game. And that's what Avida XKDZ is planning right now. Hopefully, it don't spread out, similar to what we've seen earlier. They're being caught off guard, especially in those isolation. But a little bit too late. Tawan will try to go and follow up, but Putra goes in for a shot against him. Adam's not prepared. And glue wall, even Tawan was scared. You can pull up that glue wall. It's a good thing backup is there. And more numbers means more power. That's what Avida is bringing right now.
Tawan's like, is this a trap? Should I pull up a glue wall? Because the man's just not even looking at me. Pablo gets a knock from up top. Demons all alive. A little lonely as he can't get to a vending machine. Has to play the distraction for the Onyx squad. As Crime tries to get to the vending machine somehow to bring his team members back in. Not looking good for Onyx right now.
Yeah, definitely not looking good. Demons, it will be caught off guard, but it's a good thing they have one more player. Now, tagged up, eliminated, but not done for Onyx Olympus just yet. And then earlier, we also saw a glimpse of elimination by Bremen United against Magna Esports. But WAG has introduced themselves, and now they're bringing in the numbers. But back into Avida X Gaming, we have, or Avida XKDC, we have another contender, but we're going to go back to that as we want to witness the suffering of Bremen United.
Everybody's looking for a Buriram Booyah here, but it looks like Buriram's about to be toast. But Moshi says, not yet, I will save my squad. Double revival comes on through. Make that a triple revival for Mr. Moshi. He's got enough coins to buy all of his buddies back in, and he's totally on the opposite side of the battlefield, so they will not be able to catch them just yet.
Yeah, that's a usual drop spot. So they just came from where they began this game. Shadow Esports, though, well, from the early parts of this day, they brought in a lot of firepower, but now they're slowing down. Hopefully they try this more often. Survive towards the end, that's where they get elimination, and probably another booyah. And it's just that if it's not in their DNA, if it's not in their usual position, that would throw them off guard. So those kind of changes need to be done a little bit early, not at this phase wherein everything really matters.
A little bit of a slow start here for a lot of these squads. Avida XKDC, the only ones without players on their side, or without a full squad on their side, I have to say. Still have one player. Rian up in the air, get Boo sprayed down. Magna now under a lot of pressure from Buriram, and it looks like the slide rail is going to get Rian out of the equation. Jans, on the other hand, about to get caught out here. Turner on the chase. Spots the player. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Has got the M590 in hand. Jump shot does not find the connection. Valiant Dash breaks down his defense. As Turner now in a lot of trouble. But what a 180 with the M590. He definitely lived up to a little bit of the challenge from the comments, showing that he can keep the numbers up as well for the side of Buriram.
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps these up, then he will be able to catch up with Wasana as well as Jonah. Probably the same way as Get High has been doing it. But what a swing coming from Terna. Now, let's see, going back to Shadow Esports, potential engagement, but this has been hanging for the longest time. Even Argon doesn't want to move, doesn't want to expose themselves. First and second phase might be showing up, but this is just a little too much.
You can say that again. Shadow versus Argon. Esports might interfere. Both these squads don't want beef so early in this lobby. Looking for those points. Shadow Esports is currently not in the top 6, at the very edge of it, as they got pushed down by Buriram earlier on. And if you look on the opposite side, Onyx Olympus has been undisturbed so far. Vida XKDC not too far away from them. Onyx has a decent amount of loot on them already. They've got the Winchester, the Car 98, decent number of coins as well. And I like this slow-paced game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more preparation towards the next battle. But Heavy go against WAG, where WAG is now the elimination leader with 7 points. But a rain of utilities on them. They do have that stuffy and also a lot of glue walls, but one Valiant Dash or Riptide Rhythm might break them down. And it's a good thing that they're splitting up on a 2-2 so they can take advantage of position if anyone comes knocking.
Whoa.
Hello, dangerous.
And there comes the Valiant Dash, and the entry gives them a full squad of WAG.
What?
Annihilated with 96 points in hand.
It's just unfortunate. They didn't expect that M792 man to make it way through, as well as together with a Valiant Dash. I don't know. I'm anticipating, or was assuming right now, that Heavy was just counting down. All right, let's hit them in 3, 2, 1. Pretty much like a director, but I'm loving the coordination coming from Heavy at that point.
Absolutely, man. I mean, and by the way, that was the best day ever for Secret WAG so far in the spring season. So most number of points they picked up for themselves. A little bit of an unfortunate early end in the hands of their brothers. Heavy. PE Esports up against Onyx. We thought that this battle would break out in a third-party manner, but PE Esports meeting them straight head-on. 4v4, and Onyx down for the count out in 11th.
Yeah, PE Esports one of the team who started off hot and now are catching up. But Shadow is now waiting for them to move up, but they're not phased at all. There's plenty of time, 30 seconds before the next phase of the circle closes in, and I guess they're just buying time, but it gives less opportunity for them to stack up on the numbers. But thank you, production, for giving us the map. We are seeing right now how many is in that middle and Heavy PE Esports from the other side. It's not looking good for Shadow Esports as well as Argon.
Buriram still on the recovery. Far, far away from this next circle. But moving around on Solara is not a very difficult thing. Question is, who do they bump into when they make their rotation in? Most probably Magna or Heavy. And these should be squads that they can handle, but I said that previously as well, and Magna ate Buriram up.
Well, let's see now. Here comes a Team Flash right now. Well, they were silent. They are far away. I think this is just about now that they met, or that they got into next phase of the circle. Ultra airdrop being taken. And similar to the other teams, they are preparing, like just gathering resources, making sure that they have enough towards the final battle. This is how they got that 2 Booyah, and I think they're trying to pull it off again.
Absolutely, man. Ultra airdrop's definitely a prize that you want to win for your squad. The level 4 West, definitely one that you cannot argue is a huge advantage in these fights. The Ultra armor there on the boys on the side of Flash already. They are geared up for battle. And this is what I'm talking about, Neptune. You have to be battle ready.
Yeah.
Now all they need is a horse.
I don't know what much a horse can do right now. There's one close for Buriram United, but I think they want to move with that boost. The horse doesn't have the boost though, so the decision is a 1 HP against 4-wheel with a boost. It always goes with a car.
Yeah, 1 horsepower versus like 400 or 500 horsepower. So I think the math is very easy for Buriram to make the decision there. It was Divine versus Magna. If Magna can shut down Buriram, Magna can shut down EVOS. But that's not how the game works. EVOS, this time, looking to be a little bit more aggressive. Magna striking big time! 2 players down. Kochil taken out of the equation. Rasya picked right back up here. On the path of recovery for the side of EWOS as Magna hits hard once again. The Malaysians are really waking up in the competition. Mini launcher gets them out of there. Aim God, can he survive? Yes, he can. All the way through.
Oh yeah, no one being taken out other than Kochil. It's a good way of moving out. Slide rails is available, and it's a good thing that there's curvature on this, so it's not a clear view from them. But on the other side, it is a VD, a Vita XKDC, going in for Rampage against Aurora right now, but Aurora's fighting back. I think they are the elimination leader, and they heard those gunshots. Evo Zvine might take advantage if they have the weapon to do so.
Absolutely, man. Can't they? Rasya with the 1 horsepower. Come on, Rasya, you go. Maybe the XKDC putting a little bit of a pause to the rotation. Aurora out early. That was unexpected. They were in the top 6 earlier, and I'm guessing they will lose their spot now. But of course, that depends if or not Shadow, Magna wake up in these battles with big points on their side.
Yeah, and that is a huge ask right now. Shadow Esports would be able to move a little bit quicker. We've seen that from the earlier parts, especially of this tournament, but I'm still questioning some of the decisions they made, especially for this day. But a battle between Magna Esports and United, round number 2 between the two, and let's see if they'll be able to do it once again.
Oh, Valiant Dash is working on both sides, but Buriram with the advantage because their Valiant Dash was just a little bit better. All the Magna boys' Valiant Dash was just to cut a little bit of distance a little bit faster. Use the Valiant Dash like Tatsuya's Rebel Rush. A little bit of a waste in that situation. And Buriram gets their perfect revenge against Magna.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, the angle that Magna Esports used that Valiant Dash is off. It only breaks down the glue wall, but the return was just different. It breaks down some glue walls, put a lot of damage on Magna Esports, and instantaneously knocking down 2 of the players. Edge of the circle is a plan by 5 teams, and Magna Esports being revived right here might be a savior for them. But on that side of PE Sports, VXKDC slowly jumping in. Will they be able to be caught off guard, or will PE Sports be able to defend themselves in this area?
Let's see. It's going to be the decider of this battle. VXKDC as well as EVOS should be able to snuff PE Sports out. PE Sports stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is going to be a tough battle for them to survive. Vita XKDC though, aimed at by Flash. Riptide Rhythm from PE Sports. Vita exposed. They pull out the time turner, but get hit by another Riptide Rhythm on the opposite side from Team Flash. Vita are in a lot of trouble. They even bring the Painted Refuge out. That's Steffi keeping them intact. Those grenades just keeping them alive for a little bit. But PE Sports taking advantage with the M79 at the right timing. Winter will have to be given up upon. Tawan with the Drogon straight on in, but LBT gets the knock, and the final one by Nero. And Avita XKDC bites the dust.
Yeah, it's tough luck for Vita XKDC right now. Magna Esports also biting dust, and Brim United can deal with Evo Zivine just on the gap between that ground as well as that vehicle is what Moshi's taking advantage of, and now Evo Zivine only have 1 player remaining, and it's not only that, there's shots coming in from the other side as well as the damage that is being brought in by the zone. Now, PE Sports, after that win earlier, I think they might be losing out on this well-prepared Shadow Esports, and it's just unfortunate that it's only LBT left in that fight.
Yeah, Chelsea's very lucky that the rest of his team members got those knocks, because again, another wasted Valiant Dash. He just ran away the opposite side when the battle was happening. It was right behind him. Jonah, on the other hand, wondering how things went so wrong for the squad. Moshi and Turner taken out of the equation. Boys got too aggressive too early and caught out in these gunfights, but now they'll have to figure out a way to survive. Up against 2 squads looking for the circle. Argon and Shadow. Even boys of EWOS circling their way in slowly. This is not going to be easy for Buriram to survive.
I do agree. Buriram United needs to time it well, but There goes the lightning zone. The bolt maker pickup on Jonah might be happening right now as battle unfolds between PE, Argon, and Shadow Esports. But Jonah will be left behind. And there you have it. A few teams already eliminated, and it's Argon who managed to knock down Jonah. Even Evo's Divine has been taken down, and Argon is trying to survive, pick up their teammates. Woo! We are down to 3 teams.
And Buriram's out for the count as well. EVOS is eliminated. And Flash is looking for the 3rd booyah of the day. Alongside Team Heavy, who has got no single booyah to their name just yet from the day. But they are definitely in the ranks of those great performers for the day. Vietnam looking to finish strong on day 1 of the final stretch here to find the qualifiers into the grand finals. What a phenomenal performance from Vietnam. Except Esports.
You have to point it out, but anyways, rubbing in their faces might motivate them. We've seen that so many times. But Heavy right now forced to move in on the 2nd floor. They're working with a shift to the circle, but nade's on them coming from Team Flash, and it is the Zom who might be able to finish this. And even those skills being thrown, ice grenades, it doesn't matter. If that means that they're going to win, they're going to take it.
Yeah, boy. What a play from Flash. What a well-timed grenade. And here comes Heavy with the response, though. Mufasa hopping on up. The time turner, a little bit of advantage for him. But now, Flash has to recover before Argon strikes. They're 4-man strong. Flash has got the 4 players, but they're really low on the HP.
Oh, let's see though. Argon not even putting that much of a fight, not putting that much of a pressure despite of the advantage that they have. Oh, a little bit too high on that cryo mind. Now, Argon starts to step in the 2nd floor, and it forces Team Flash to move on the other side. This might be a trap being set by Team Flash. Good position being taken. Anywhere they jump outside, it would be Team Flash capitalizing on it.
This is the best day so far for Team Flash, and you gotta appreciate this stealthy, strategic plays out of the squad, so consistent throughout the day, and the first time ever Team Flash might be able to walk away with 3 booyahs. Argon, 3-man, up against the 4 from the side of Flash. And Flash is just buying the time because they want the refresher on their active skills to hit first. And finally, that A124 has become available once again. And this is going to be all about timing now as they pop the thrill of battle. Blue wall melters laid out right in front of ABCD, who's still holding a very aggressive line ahead. Calls upon Ming and the backup. Rip that rhythm. Now's the time for that A124 to be popped. No key responding, but ABCD with the backstab. Here comes Traps and Aleph right behind. Zom's not attacking just yet. And now once again, Team Flash playing timing so perfectly for themselves.
Oh, let's see now. Aleph needs to move out. But they are being forced in the corner by Team Flash. And they bring in they bring in the trip mine. They even bring in that glue wall UAV, forcing them outside of the zone. Smart move, and here comes a Valiant Dash, but I don't think that would save Argon. MY and Team Flash just goes in for a rush for the finisher, and the 3rd booyah achieved.
I am not sure what Argon was thinking there in that battle. I am not sure why Traps trapped himself in with the glue wall. I mean, in a situation like that, you gotta bet on yourselves and just go full on with the battle of gunfights. The mechanical skills should have shown in that final sequence of battle. I understand that the thrill of battle was popped early and they had already won that off, so they could use their active skill. We did see the Valiant Dash come through from Aleph, but it was so badly timed, I'll have to say. There was just no coordination between the Argon players. But who cares, man? I was looking for Flash to break their own record, and they've done it finally. 3 booyahs on a day. The first time ever Team Flash has done it, and this is the best performance ever from Team Flash. 110 points in total they have earned for themselves, and they are serious about getting into the grand finals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Team Flash, they're not showing up from the beginning and then dying out towards the end. Even towards the end, they grab that booyah, which I'm loving right now. Not only that, WAG, we question their movement overall, but still, they end this day on the high note. But I really want to see how the other teams manage to pull through after that game, because we've seen less elimination, and that's not enough for some of the teams to really move up.
Nah, not enough. And WAG was above Team Flash before this game had started. And so it was just a little bit of an unfortunate moment for Secret WAG. They had no booyahs to their name at all. So this is still a big question mark. But in terms of day's performance, this was the best day ever for WAG and Flash within the spring season, right? So both of them have to be really proud of themselves in terms of how they've been able to be so consistent. Of course, Secret WAG a tad bit jealous of the 3 booyahs that Team Flash has earned for themselves. And I would say active skill, passive combination, timing, super well played by the Vietnamese squads. Even Heavy has been so consistent throughout the whole day, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree, and that's just a great motivation that's coming from Vietnam right now.
Yeah.
Except PE Sports, I have to do it. I have to do it too because we want to motivate PE Sports as well. They're very close in there to get in top 6, but they have wasted a few games in this day number 1. Though there's no rotation in groupings, they will be playing for the remainder of this week. But if you start slow, then you might have trouble later on, wherein the other teams would be adjusting.
Absolutely, man. And I think Flash is... I hope Flash does not get like extra partnerships and sponsorships, because that has actually been a curse for the squad in the past. So I want them to just remain consistent. I think the coach has been doing a phenomenal job with the squad so far. It's all about what you do before the game starts and what you do within the game. The players have been phenomenal within the game. The coach and the analysts have been phenomenal before the start of the game, guiding these players to just figure out exactly how to crack the meta for the current season. And they have got it on point. I think all of the experiments have been working perfectly for the squad, and the executions on the battlefield, I think the players definitely have to be very proud of themselves. We asked about what about consistency for Team Flash, and they said, what about it? We can bring it on. But I think we lost Neptune for a little bit there. He's going to reconnect in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But, it has been a great run so far from Vietnam. What has not been so great is Buriram United Esports. Buriram has been on it. This has been one of the lowest performing side of Buriram that we have seen in a long, long time, where they've managed to outscale themselves in terms of placement points and crash out when it comes to the eliminations. How often do we see that? Not too often at all. The MVP of the match out of Flash is the God. 3 eliminations, 3,884 on the damage. I wonder how the Mac 10 showed up here in terms of his weapon of choice, but I guess the 3 eliminations that he found off of has been brought in by that gun. But of course, at the end of the day, it was all about how the teams climb up the leaderboard in a consistent manner. Vietnam has proven themselves to be capable of doing it. EVOS Divine, Buriram, both showing that they're capable of doing it. And look at the overall leaderboard of eliminations here. Argon at the top. That's a great consolation prize for Argon and for Malaysia. But Avida has Pablo up this time with 5 eliminations. Buriram through Turner. We question Turner a lot, and whether or not this guy is just purely for survival. Well, they didn't survive, but at least he brought in some elimination points for the squad. WAG and Flash, we see all 5 spots taken up by different squads here, but only Vietnam super consistent throughout the day, constantly getting themselves into the top 5 eliminations, constantly getting themselves into a booyah situation, or at least the top 3 in terms of a play. The God, ABCD, Mink, as well as Zom, Skylar, A124, Oscar, Chrono. This time, they went with the very aggressive composition, not focusing on the recovery or saves at all. And obviously, Mink doubling down in terms of his support play role with the Time Turner as well as the Thiva, but still having enough viability out there with the Nikita and Joseph in case he needs to participate in the eliminations. And you saw the well-timed Riptide rhythms coming through from the God. Skylar has been phenomenal so far. And of course, the Zom with the perfectly timed activations of that A124 as well as the grenades. He brings in the Beast and he brings in the Alvaro. Did so well with those frags throughout the match, just putting on so much of pressure on the rest of the squads. And I think this has also earned the highest number of eliminations for Team Flash in a long, long while. The total number of eliminations that they got in this match in itself, definitely not the highest, but enough to keep the squad in a powerful position on the leaderboard. Just with this one day of play in itself, Team Flash might have been able to earn themselves a spot in the grand finals, but that does not mean they can slack off by the time we get into day 2 and 3. We've got 2 more days, and we do not have other groups for us to swap around with. It's the same teams playing all throughout the 3 days. 18 matches to earn a spot at the grand finals, and of course, only the top 6 teams will be able to achieve that. Let's check out the game standings in this matchup as Team Flash grabs the 24 points again for themselves. There was that one game where they did the exact same thing. 12 placement points, 12 eliminations. Argon right behind. Great recovery from Argon, but this is just that one game where they were capable of doing that. Buildup United Esports, again, barely trying, had to go on the early recovery, grabbing 15 points, and this was the best run for PE Esports so far within the day, clocking in a total of 12 points for themselves alongside Heavy. Down at the bottom though, Magna Esports crashed out early. EVOS Divine could not keep the pressure up on the rest of the squads this time. I wonder if or not they'll still be in the top 6. And thanks to today's standings, we find out that they are in the top 6. EVOS Divine, Aurora, Malaysia, and Indonesia represented well here in the top 6. Heavy, WAG, and Flash, though, showing that Vietnam is not messing around. This is that home ground advantage that they want to play for. And I'll have to say the most impressive one throughout the day, although Team Flash was very flashy, Buriram barely trying, man. 41 eliminations, a weak squad when it comes to the overall eliminations where they want to compete with the rest of the teams here. But and of course, I say that based on their previous performance, how Buriram can usually perform out there on the battlefield when it comes to the eliminations. But as far as they're concerned, they're not going to break a sweat at all. On a day where people thought that Buriram was going to flunk out, they're still in the top 3. And I think that really says a lot in terms of what they can do out there on the battlefield. In the overall grand scheme of things, the other squads who are down in the bottom 6 just need to hustle. But the team that earns the title of Team of the Day and the extra $250 US as the one and only Team Flash. Again, this has been their best run so far within the spring 2026 season. Eliminations 61, total points 110, 36k on the damage, 3 booyahs in total for them to wrap this day up. Will Flash find the qualifier? Will Flash find themselves in the grand finals? Can they pick up enough momentum? Can they make it into the grand finals and walk away with the trophy as well? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have to wait and see. But as for the rest of the squads who are in here looking to climb up, Shadow Esports, PE Sports, Magna, Onyx, Argon, Avida, XKDC. I don't even know how Avida XKDC is down there at the bottom, but you know, everybody has their down days, and I feel like Avida just bit the dust this time around. Whether or not they can rise back up to the top, we'll have to wait and see. We've got 2 more days for the final stretch where the top 6 makes it into the grand finals. Today has been a phenomenally exciting day, especially for the Vietnamese fans. I was very excited to see them in performance. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on behalf of the broadcast, Neptune, as well as everybody around the world watching, this has been a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be wrapping things up in a little bit, but before that, we've got a little bit of an interview segment coming up for you guys. Enjoy. I'll be right back.
Booyah! And hello all of my survivors. Very surprising that once again Team Flash got their booyah, and this is the 3rd booyah in the game. Very impressive, right? Welcome Team Flash to my interview today, and greetings to all of my audience. Xin chào các bạn khán giả, thật là bất ngờ đúng không ạ, khi chúng ta đã kết thúc ngày thi đấu đầu tiên với một cú booyah rất là trọn vẹn đến từ Team Flash. Xin được chúc mừng à. Vỗ tay. Yay! Xin chào mọi người, và thì đầu tiên các bạn có thể gửi lời chào đến các bạn khán giả trước được chứ ạ?
Chào tất cả mọi người.
Chào tất cả mọi người ạ.
Alright, we got the greetings from our players. So, into my first questions. Today, very impressive, amazing. Nothing to say. 3 booyahs and 1 team of a day. What is happening to you guys? So crazy today. Thực sự mà nói ngày thi đấu hôm nay, 3 booyah là một cú đúp booyah ban đầu rồi, và chưa kể là một cú booyah để kết thúc ngày thi đấu thật trọn vẹn, và chưa kể là team off ở đây. Chuyện gì đang xảy ra với Team Flash vậy ạ? Quá xuất thần.
Dạ, do team em đoàn kết nên là được như hôm nay.
Đoàn kết, còn đội gót thì thấy như thế nào? Hôm nay có thể miêu tả một ngày thi đấu ngày hôm quá là
Hôm nay
điên
thì
khùng của Team Flash được không ạ?
anh em thì có phong độ cao và rất là bùng nổ ạ.
Because today we are pretty stick together, stick to the plans and everything, and as well, we are playing our best as well. We are at the peak of the top of our, how do I say, of our competitive scene. So that's why we play very well today. Very well done to our team. And our second questions. So, as I can see, following the games today, Team Flash, the more they play, the better they are. So, what is the secret ingredients to help them reach their peak like that? Bởi vì hôm nay là Team Flash thì mình thấy là càng thi đấu thì càng thấy tự tin hơn. Thì Yusui không biết là đâu là yếu tố để giúp cho đội của mình thi đấu thăng hoa đến như vậy ạ?
Tại vì vòng này thì những đội mạnh vô hết rồi nên là còn những đội Việt Nam thì cảm giác là nó nhẹ hơn.
Vậy còn thì đội có thấy như thế nào? Thực sự thì Yusui cảm thấy là hôm nay vẫn sẽ có hai đội khá là được, tức là Buildup và Esports. Thì rơi vào tuần cuối cùng như thế này thì có hai đội tuyển đó thì nhưng mà hôm nay Team Flash vẫn thi đấu rất là tốt, thì đội có đánh giá như thế nào? Đánh giá như thế nào khi mà đến tuần cuối cùng, mặc dù như Minh Cường bảo là các đội mạnh đi hết rồi, nhưng mà Yusui vẫn thấy là có hai đội mạnh còn lại là Buildup và Esports. Thì đội có thấy như thế nào về tuần cuối cùng của mình?
Dạ, tại vì hai đội đó thì vẫn còn 4 tay Việt Nam nên tụi em bắn cũng hiểu ý, nên là đi những bài có thể thoải mái hơn.
Tức là những đội tuyển kia cũng không quá là nặng nề so với đội của mình. So for Minh Cường, he said that because all the strong teams they qualify to the grand finals early, and only the Vietnamese team left, so he feels pretty easy and light for him. As for the God, he feels like having lots of Vietnamese team left with them, it's kind of easy to understand each other, so that's why he can play better and control the game easier for Team Flash. Alright, so third questions. What will you guys do to maintain this peak during our last 2 days? And what is your goal at the grand finals this time? Thì đến với câu hỏi thứ ba là các bạn sẽ làm gì để duy trì lợi thế cho đến 2 ngày thi đấu tiếp theo của chúng ta, và cũng như là mục tiêu của các bạn tại chung kết lần này là cái gì?
Đến 2 ngày thi đấu tiếp theo thì tụi em vẫn tự tin và thi đấu như bình thường thôi. Còn mục tiêu ở chung kết thì tụi em là chức vô địch và đi FFWS ạ.
Chức vô địch và đi EWC. Wow, không biết là Minh Cường có chung lối với người đồng đội của mình không nhỉ?
Có.
Hãy cho các bạn khán giả nói thật là tự tin vào.
Mục tiêu của team mình là vô địch giải Đông Nam Á và được đi FFWS.
You heard them. Our goals at the grand final is to become the champions of the Free Fire World Series 2026 Spring and get our slot to Esports World Cup this time. For maintain their peak onto the next 2 days, they would still be confident, play their best, and stay conscious into the game. Well, I love their answer, and this is such a nice way to end our day today. Thank you so much for listening, and good night, all of my survivors. See you guys tomorrow. Cảm ơn các bạn khán giả rất là nhiều vì đã theo dõi, và một lần nữa xin được chúc mừng Team Flash với ngày thi đấu thật sự quá là phong độ, bản lĩnh và tự tin. Các bạn khán giả ơi, ngày mai chúng ta hãy tiếp tục cổ vũ cho bố đội tuyển Việt Nam nhé. Và bây giờ thì chúc các bạn ngủ ngon và cảm ơn đã lắng nghe.
I think Team Flash is a little nervous, as usual, being interviewed. They definitely prefer playing out there on the battlefield and taking a couple of questions. Super shy, especially because the one and only Yunsul is interviewing them. But it has been a phenomenal day for Team Flash. It has been a phenomenal day for Vietnam. It has been a phenomenal day for all of us here. But this brings us to the end of the day here at the Free Fire World Series final leg to find the qualifier into the grand finals. But the world of Free Fire Esports is not going to go to sleep just yet. We have the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational going on, and there are definitely a few squads from Southeast Asia that you want to check out there and give your support to, as well as you watch them probably annihilate some other squads. South Asia is in contention. India has been popping off, and obviously we want to see who dominates the day over there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't forget to check that out. Thank you so much for joining us here on this broadcast. It has been phenomenal. Tomorrow and the day after, 2 final days. 6 squads will get to qualify into the grand finals. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be wrapping up the day. You guys take care. Good night and goodbye.